Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. As long as it's all good, we want to welcome to you The House That Happens, sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke, voted 4 times the best dive bar in the city, but we'd like to think it's the best dive bar in the country. Hi, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Malani. Is Sheldon Keefe fired yet?
Oh my God, I was going to talk about the insidious and insane things that happen in the world of sports this week. However, we're coming out firing.
Yeah, I want to, set the tone because I have a feeling this is going to be the first time in show history where we're going to both beat up on the Leafs.
Oh my God, this should be so much fun. However, we'll get to that later. You cannot deny the greatest scorer in the NHL right now, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Oh, wasted 70-goal season. Fantastic.
Oh, gee, we're off and firing. Welcome to Leaf Nation. However, how was your
dreams
week?
come to die.
How was your week?
Great, actually. I came back from camping. Went with my dad, my brother, my sister, and my future brother-in-law, Mitchell, who I know is listening. Shout out, Mitchell.
Everybody that's listening, one day I'm going to meet all the Malani family. The structure of bringing up a family, your family's second to none. Like, I don't even know you guys, and you tell me about the events and that. So everybody out there,
Well, you know Steven.
Oh yeah, Steven's great. He's my replacement.
Well, don't say that.
No, but whatever. Steven, good shout out when you're on the air. But no, I'm just saying that when you always talk about what makes life better, it starts with the structure of family at home. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anybody says. That's how it works. And I'm glad you guys went all up there, and it must have been a great time. Not as cold as here, though, right?
Yeah, it was actually a little bit warmer up there, surprisingly, at Algonquin. But we stayed in the yurt, heated with like a gas furnace. There was electricity in there. They had an outdoor rink there, kind of backyard style in front of the washrooms. It was like lit up at nighttime. That hockey sticks and nets there set up. It was fantastic.
Oh, that's
some hiking.
Old school Canada.
Yeah.
Old school Canada, as good as you want. I want to do a quick...
And I broke a hockey stick and we burnt it in the fire.
Okay. That's what you do with hockey sticks,
Sure.
You know what I mean? Unless you're going to turn them into a chair. Whatever the case may be.
Muskoka chair, yeah.
Yeah, make a Muskoka chair. I want a big shout out to my son who did the exact opposite. He spent a week in Cuba for the first time. He says he's dragging me back there next time because like father, like son, his most lasting impression of the island of Cuba is not the beaches, not the girls, not the alcohol. He said the quality of music that he's seen coming off the island was unbelievable, which is what the Cubans are known for.
Oh, yeah. I remember when we went to Cuba when I was a kid, my dad got... a CD there. It still gets some listening.
Buenos Aires Social Club, I'll bet. I still play it too. I got a couple Cuban albums. A big shout out to that. The quality of music. My bucket list is to go to the Havana International Jazz Festival. And now my son said, if you go, I got to go with him. So should be interesting.
Yeah, do it. Then report back to the house.
Oh, he definitely will. But anyways, we always like to talk about the insane things that happen in the world of sports. And before we get going, I don't want to get on the bandwagon about who should report sports, or are we looking for sound bites, or are you properly prepared? Mm-hmm. Whatever the case may be. People may not know this, but Andrew and I just don't come on the air and start firing off whatever we're saying. We actually have pre-production shows. We have a guideline for what we're doing. Yes. And we tend to know what we're talking about 99% of the time.
Sure, there's a little bit of, that. No, but...
okay, me and my names. Names.
Sure,
okay,
but the point is there's a lot of prep that goes into the show. A lot more than you might think. Not to toot our own horn, but there's a lot of work that goes into this.
Well, that leads me to what I've seen this week, and we've seen some of the most insidious thing happened with reporters and players this week that cannot be denied in this way. Are these people not prepared? First example is whoever the girl was that asked the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are you worried about the weather this week in Detroit?
And he just that was the nicest way to shut someone down.
What if it had been Tortorella or Jim Harbaugh?
Well, Tortorella probably would have told them they were an idiot.
Okay, well, that's what I'm saying. Thank God that they got the right person at the right time.
Sure.
Or we wouldn't have had, that girl, and I heard the same newspaper was the one where I think is the most dangerous thing, and people have talked about it, so they should give it a little bit more time. When the reporter... Both of them female, by the way, not that it's mattered, but I'm going to say they were both female, asking Tomlin about his contract after a loss, a tough loss in Buffalo in the weather. That had nothing to do with the game.
No.
Absolutely.
But I mean, that's you're always going to get questions about that, and it might be the last time you talk to the guy, right?
But did you see Tomlin the very next day?
Oh, he made a joke of it.
Oh, it was great. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what they say happens, because then you're going to start blaming athletes for saying absolutely insane things when you catch them in a moment where their emotionality is on a level we've never imagined, because I've never been on the game and lost in 7th game of Stanley Cup final.
Right.
And if I'm on the losing end of that and I'm coming off the ice and you ask me a question, I'm not sure what I'm going to say at that moment,
Sure.
but I ain't going to be happy.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I think there should be like a decompression moment. And if you take it one step further, now I'm not condoning or I'm not going to accept everything that we've seen, but we got a big UFC card tonight in Toronto.
Yeah.
Sold out Scotiabank.
I just found out today.
You know what?
Actually, that's a lie. I knew like there was one coming in Toronto, but I just didn't know when.
Well, this is going to be the most coverage the UFC gets on the House That Happens, okay? This is probably the most coverage you're going to get. And
until our MMA show, which...
Oh yeah.
Okay,
We'll get to that then.
Once
and
we're back at
show.
Shoey's.
Yeah.
We're at 409 again, by the way.
Oh
Shout
yeah,
out.
and Shoey's is coming along. For all the people that are asking me, it won't be such a dive bar anymore when we get back to it.
Okay.
We just look at it that way. It'll still have the same atmosphere, but it'll be a completely different. It'll be the same environment. It'll just be renovated. Is that the way to put it?
Sure.
In any event, I think what ends up happening is, like, we're talking about people being prepared. And the reporter that talked to Strickland at the press conference before the UFC fight tonight asked an open-ended question about situations in Canada, which led to this guy just ripping him and going off about socio-political situations in Canada. And he even took it further when he started talking about gender orientation, boys
sexual
and girls,
orientation,
and all that. I think when I'm doing a press conference, I really don't want to hear that guy's opinion about that. That's his own thing. And I think he took it a little bit too far at points.
Yeah,
but there's a hardcore audience out there who said, yeah, he was great. I'm glad he said that. No, man, let's get back to one thing in the House That Happens. We think equal is equal. Agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Equal doesn't mean some gets more, some gets slagged. Equal means equal. But my point being is, sometimes these reporters will ask an open-ended question, which takes them down a road that most of us don't want to hear because it gets very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like that question, like what's so rampant now in media and journalism is like the gotcha moment. Everyone's trying to get one of those.
Soundbite.
Ugh. Like, fuck off.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. I could give you, I'm very politically astute. I know the history of our country. If you wanted to, I could go off on 10 minutes on why I think the next election is going to be that way. But we're here for sports purposes. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't want to know my politics. You know what I mean? You don't want to know, do I have a chimpanzee or a dog? That's all irrelevant, because what I want to do when I want to watch a sports show is be informed and be entertained, because we've been watching the highest level of competition. That's why we're here, correct?
Right.
Now, if something comes up, like you say, you've seen a good movie, or we've seen a cool T-shirt, whatever the case may be, we can add it in just like we did at the beginning of the show. Great talk about going to Algonquin Park, stuff like that. That's a little bit informative for people, because maybe someone's going to go to Algonquin Park and check out that place with the arena.
Right.
Or with the
rink.
The rink, right? But we don't want to know anything about your sexual orientation, or whether or not or who you're going to vote for, or whether you believe what your children should be doing in school. That's for another platform at another time. So please be informed and know your information, because then we don't have to hear these embarrassing things in the middle of sports shows. Agreed?
Yeah, agreed.
You know what I'm saying? But thinking of embarrassing, we thought we'd take a little time to talk about the Australian Open, which is now on, and I've been watching feverishly.
Oh, no Canada. No Canadians left.
No Canada. I wish it was old Canada. No, we got Felix.
No, he lost to Medvedev.
Oh, that's right.
Straight sets.
What's that this morning, right?
Yeah.
I didn't get to see it. I should have went up and done it. Anyways, Felix showed up, okay, and he lost to a potential finalist.
The number 3 in the world.
Number 3 in the world. But what I want to do a shout out is that sometimes I'm going to say this, and it might not be the way you're saying it. It might sound like a bit of a contradiction. But what happened to our guy, Denis Shapovalov?
Shapovalov?
This guy went out in the first round.
Yeah.
Didn't even show up. He was brutal. Did he grow his hair again? I don't really care. But I'm just saying, like, 3 years ago, John McEnroe, who's one of my favorite athletes of all time, was talking that he thought that this kid had some of the best ground strokes he's ever seen. What happened to this guy? He made it to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon just a couple of years ago. Remember, against Djokovic? You know what I mean? And gave him a battle. Now it's 3 years later, and the guy's losing in the first round of the Australian Open.
He's a hothead.
100% a spoiled rotten kid as far as I'm concerned. That's a word. I don't know. If he wants to come in, if you're listening to the show, buddy, come on in and defend yourself. But we only have...
We know you are.
Yes, but we only have what we can see. And when you put on a performance, what you put on in the first round of the Australian Open, I'm going, come on, guy. You know what I mean? We're trying to get Canadian tennis back on the map. And the performance was unbelievably inept. Is that the word?
Yeah, lost in straight sets, I believe.
Straight sets.
Yeah, Raonic had to retire in his first round too.
But I don't mind that because he's older and he was never going to be great because he was...
I'm just saying it's a shame.
Yeah, but he's a big lumbering guy with power. He couldn't, the way the game is going, he couldn't get around the court. I think he's going to be done, but I give him credit because I've never seen him mail in an event.
No,
I seen him get his ass kicked, but he took his ass kicked with pride, and I can deal with that.
And he'll get back up.
You know, I didn't see this from our Richmond Hill kid. You know what I'm saying? In any event, I've been watching the Australian Open feverishly. I am a tennis fan, and sometimes I think what happens is when people go down to Australia, that's why they put that little roof on it, because the heat this time of year in Melbourne and the travel.
It's so intense.
Yeah, and they say they go down there, and like sometimes these people don't really give it their best efforts because they're trying to get out of Australia and go home. I hate to hear that. Because if you don't want to
it's a major.
That's what I'm saying.
That's so bizarre to me.
Okay, but in my lifetime, did you not know this? And this is why I say John McEnroe is underrated as a tennis player.
We've talked about this. It used to be at the end of the year now, during Christmas time, basically.
Yeah, because it's a major.
Yep.
Let's give it the significance that it is. But in any event, there's been some great tennis. There's some great matches. And it's on all day.
Yep.
If you're just sitting around and it's on all night, I'm a night owl. I watch those 2 a.m. matches. You know what I mean? I'm one of those nut bars, but on my 8 hours a day of watching sports, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Next.
I was just going to ask you predictions. Who do you think is going to make the men's final?
Djokovic for sure. And what's the buddy from Spain?
Alcaraz?
He's looking amazing. I like the fact he's out there with the cut-off shirts and showing the pipes.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I'm going to give this, though. I don't think this has anything to do with sports, but I really think it's cool that some of these outfits that the women are wearing, and they can keep the tennis ball on them. Mm-hmm. It's really neat. Like all of a sudden they serve, and then another tennis ball comes out of their dress somewhere. It's just that's where technology has gone.
Sure. Well, the men have pockets, so they got to figure out something for the women too, right?
I must be Velcro because back in the day, remember you'd always see the ball boy or the ball girl throwing them the second ball when they had to serve, and I see them serving, and it's just like and they pull it out. Like, well, where do they get that ball from? And they're wearing really cool outfits.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to say they're wearing, not that has anything to do with the game, but the fact that technology has gotten to a point where the ladies have the same opportunity to handle their serves the way men do, which I think is kind of cool. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Yeah, I like that.
I like it too. I thought it's kind of cool. And the fashions are just amazing.
Oh, yeah.
The fashions that are come out there. Now, I got to say this. A couple of the guys, do they look in the mirror before they come to the court? I mean, I've seen...
I hope they're getting like a little extra bump from Nike or whoever to wear some of those
there's
outfits.
A couple of European... what's the one that starts with an M? Big European company. They did... or no, it wasn't... whatever. The guy that did Ben Johnson back in the day, what was his company? I forget. Anyway, if you look it up. In any event, some of those outfits that come out and I go, is this Halloween? You know what I mean? But for the most part, I think that and even the rackets, like the technology in sports in the tennis world
is insane.
It really is. It really is. So where are we going from here, buddy?
Well, I feel like we should touch on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. going into arbitration. Okay, Mr. Ross Askins, I know you're a regular listener to our show. Okay? Our biggest fan.
Second biggest fan. We got to be somebody bigger. In any event, I just want to bring this up because I'm totally concerned about the Toronto Blue Jays for the 2024 season. It's now getting to a point where we talked about this previously, where we always thought when you brought these two guys in from Cleveland, Shapiro and Atkins, they were the ultimate bean counters, and they'd gotten Cleveland to the off season without the insane
budgets.
Same budgets as the big league team. Cleveland made the playoffs. Cleveland went to the World Series.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Now they come to the Toronto, which is, if you're listening to our show, and you can fact check us on this, at times we may believe that Toronto Blue Jays are one of the richest franchises in North America.
They're always like ranked in the top 10.
Always, and sometimes more. But I mean, with our fan base, our budgets, etc., we may be taking Vladdy Guerrero to arbitration, and nobody's gone to arbitration in Toronto. What is it? Last 10 years?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, nobody's gone to arbitration. Now, I've said previously on this show that I think that sometimes the dressing room gets a little bit messed up, and whose team is it? Is it Bo's or is it Vladdy's? I don't think it should be either one's team. I think it should be a team, so to speak.
Well, there's got to be that leader, though, right? And if there's friction between the two, I mean, we saw it happen with your Montreal Canadiens a few years ago.
Okay.
Was it Pacioretty's team? Was it Subban's team?
Okay, and where'd both of them go?
Yeah, they both got shipped out of town.
Okay.
And once Carey Price got hurt there, I guess he was the mediator. It was all over.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, that's what I'm afraid is going to go on. Like I'm worried, and I hope I am wrong, but I'm expecting a regression in the performance of the Toronto Blue Jays this year, because what have they done to improve the team?
Nothing.
I'm really happy they got the Korean pitcher.
Yeah, but all these guys are signed to minor league deals, so I don't think they have much faith in them cracking the major league roster.
Well, only because the guys are, this guy's a little bit older. And what they also have to do is realize...
They really got to blow away their socks at training camp. That's the point.
Of course. And not only that, people don't realize that a lot of these Asian pitchers are used to working on a six-man rotation as opposed to a five-man rotation. So they're going to have to adjust their routines and their whatever. Now, I hope he's good.
Of course.
There's a few people that said he was outstanding in the World Baseball Classic, and he's been like an all-star in his league. But that's not the point. We haven't even heard of this guy. He better be a superstar when he comes in. I do believe that Toronto's going to surprise people with the pitching when that left-hander, Tiedemann, and I think that I'm praying that Manoah has a comeback year.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. And if that's the case, our pitching is going to tell you that. But okay, let's start right now. Who's starting for third base in Toronto? We don't know. Did we find another left-handed power hitter? We don't even have one. And now Vladdy's going to arbitration. And my prediction is this: if Vladdy goes to arbitration, he's 2 years away from playing for another team.
Yep.
Agreed?
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
And you hinted at this last year too.
I'm not saying that anybody has an attitude problem, but I don't care about your attitude. I want to see your performance. And if you add a little character to your performance along the way, that's what we get, the colorful players. Mm-hmm. But this has gone a little bit too far with what's going on with Vladdy, the way the team was judged last year, or the way they changed it last year. And now they came into, he had his, what would you say, maybe not his best season last year.
No.
You know what I mean? I mean, if he was just a guy, like if our show gave us those numbers, we'd be doing cartwheels.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
This is Vladdy. The bar's been set so much higher.
MVP finalist 2 seasons ago.
Runner-up.
Yeah. 2 years ago. And what do we have now? So if anyone that's listening there, remember, sometimes when things happen on the field, you have to look at what's going on in the locker room.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
Correct? In any event, the Houston Astros signed my boy Hader for only about $70 million. What was it, 5 years, $70 million?
Yeah.
5 years? He didn't get $20 million a year. Okay, so the market's there and he's out there. And I'm screaming, why didn't the Toronto Blue Jays, now your opinion is you'd rather play in Houston than Toronto.
If all things were equal, yes.
I would have given him an extra $10 million. We had $60 million we're going to spend. Where's the $60 million? In your piggy bank? You know, do you have to go down to Money Mart to make sure it's real?
Maybe it wasn't in the budget.
$600 million was in the
Maybe that was an exception for Ohtani, I'm saying. That's possible.
However, you're telling me you had the resources to improve the team. As a diehard now Toronto Blue Jay fan, and I'm going to look at the product on the field, and I say you had $600 million and you haven't spent a nickel of that since, I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't have high hopes for this team at all, unless like something drastic happens in the next couple weeks.
Yes, exactly. And there's still a ton of free agents out there. You know what I mean?
There's time, but
But this is now January 19th, I believe, or not?
January 20th.
Okay, we're 1 month away from pitchers and catchers reporting. That's 30 days away. So unless they do something, and now I've heard there's a couple kids that are coming up through the system that may surprise us. But I get surprised too when I look at my lottery ticket and I win $12. Okay, so you know what I mean? I'm not justifying that at all. Let's hope the best with Blue Jays.
Yeah,
right?
it's gonna be a tough season though.
I hope if we end up last in the American League East this year, I will lose my caca.
Don't even say that.
I'm just looking around what other teams have done. Yankees are freaking loading for bear. Boston's made some sneaky good moves.
Yeah, they're a wild card in this.
And Baltimore, with that young team who just won the division, they're not going anywhere.
And Tampa Bay, is going to field a good team.
Every time. Anyways, we'll be giving you a lot more about baseball in the coming month when the time comes, so to speak.
On to something a little bit lighter. So there was a nice little story out of Newfoundland. Terry Ryan, former Montreal 8th overall draft pick, I believe, got called back to play his first professional game in over 20 years.
Was it over 20? It's been a while.
And it was the first time that his daughter got to see him play.
It was amazing. Yeah. And I was lucky enough to hear his interview on NHL Network. To be honest with you, as a Hab diehard, I wanted to kick the guy to the curb back in the day. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, what was he, 8th overall?
I believe.
First round. He was like highly coveted.
Let's see. Yeah, 8th overall in 1995.
Okay, and what did he do? He never even scored 20 goals for us.
He only played 8 NHL games.
Yeah, because injury, I know that. Some of it had to do with injury, but some of it had to do with attitude. Okay, we know that. However...
Well, I don't know that. This is before my time.
Oh, I remember too. I would imagine me a Hab guy. You don't think I was cursing this guy's name? However, sometimes you get the humanity out of a guy and he gets to tell his story. And it was, if you ever get a chance to see it on NHL Network, it was a great, I did not know this. He's written 2 books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and one of the books is the pratfalls of not being prepared to play in the NHL, not knowing your role.
Yeah.
And then how you adjust the money that you make during that time to eventually bring up a family. So off the ice, he's been far more successful than he was on the ice, which is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And to bring your daughter out that, he's still gotten a scrap.
Yeah.
He's still gotten a scrap. But great story. Check it out online. I know he's on there on YouTube, whatever the case may be. But my respect for Terry Ryan is exponentially advanced, because I haven't talked about the guy for a long time because he pissed me off so badly that's what the beginning of our never going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, late 90s, early 2000s was a dark age for the Habs.
Thank you very much. But and by the way, let's go back to something I like to rally on all the time. Let's look at the management team when they drafted Terry Ryan. You know who it was? Rajon Houle came from the beer store to the general manager's seat. And they pulled Mario Tremblay, who couldn't barely speak English, out of the booth and said, "You guys can win, Brand. The Montreal Canadiens. You guys won Stanley Cups."
And you guys muffed up the Patrick Waugh situation, too.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. You just added all up, and more than dark times for us. Mm-hmm. And that was in between the Molson family came back.
Yeah.
Because remember, they had sold the team, and they came back because they were embarrassed at the way the team was being put together. And thank God the family's back. I'm not saying anywhere, but we will talk about hockey in a minute, won't we?
Also, another... This is actually an anniversary. It's the 10th anniversary of the infamous John Tortorella going to the Flames dressing room incident.
Is that the highlight of his insanity?
Oh, hands down. That's like an all-time Hockey Night in Canada classic moment.
Yeah, that
from the taking 2 minutes to drop the puck before the game, and then between first and second period, the intermission there. Insane.
Oh yeah,
insane.
But you know what though? Torts, for all of his insanity, is still a good coach.
Oh, I agree.
You know what I mean? Look
at the job he's doing in Philly.
100%. And not only that we were making jokes about it off the air. Like we said, what have happened if one of those reporters we were talking about at the beginning of the show asked Torts one of those kind of questions?
Oh, exactly. He would have thrown them to the wolves.
I would have just seen it to put it on the highlight film. It would have just been great. But you know what? The thing about guys like Torts and some of these coaches in professional sports is they're still from the old school.
Oh, very much so with Torts.
You know what I mean? And the bottom line is, as society changes, so does sports. Mm-hmm. And maybe some of us guys, like me, have not adapted to some of the things that are supposedly the way you're supposed to operate. Do you know what I mean? Well, to me, as long as you're above board, that's cool.
Right.
You know, I don't think Torts was as bad as the old Jim Schoenfeld thing.
Jim Schoenfeld.
Oh, yeah, have another donut.
Oh,
I don't think it was as bad.
Yeah, go have another donut.
That's number one. I remember that when I was like, that's way before your time. But I remember that on the sports show there because you only didn't have all the sport. I don't even think TSM was around in that time.
No, it would have been around, but probably pretty fresh.
Yeah, and because I did see it. I think I did see it on the famous show with Bob McCowan at 11:30 at night on Global News. That was the first big sports show in Toronto, in my opinion. But I remember it showing up there. But once again, you have to be careful when you go after somebody on an emotional level in the height of a game. Shit may happen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And Torts has never lasted 5 years at any team, has he? Coaching-wise?
He's never what, sorry?
He's never had a 5-year span with any team.
Oh, no. He's like a 3-year coach.
You know what I mean? But, I mean, look at
actually, Tampa Bay, he would have been there, I feel like, for 5-6 years.
Yeah, but then
that was the only one, though. Maybe New York. Yeah.
New York was not.
Oh, that was a short one, too, actually. Yeah.
Because in Tampa Bay, he pushed that team to where he was. And once they left, they went to their next success. So, obviously, he built a foundation there.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But the old school and the new school will be fighting until the day I die, I think. You know what I mean? Next.
Let me see.
We're going to go to your favorite subject right now.
We'll kind of like move it into hockey from here, but obviously All-Star is in Toronto this year. We all know who's designing the jerseys. One, Justin Bieber. They were kind of leaked out before, or like the logos were leaked out. I thought it looked awful, and seeing them on the jerseys, I can confirm it looks awful.
Oh, beyond that, but
it's like something you'd find like out of a McDonald's like Happy Meal or something.
Oh,
like,
they're so bad.
Did you see the nameplates too? They're like on the guy's ass basically, and they're all like lowercase letters.
I don't get that.
It's stupid.
Well, I just think
it's synonymous with like Justin Bieber's brand. Like fuck off.
Yeah, maybe it may be. I
think
know.
it is. I think it is because like I'm thinking of like Bieber's like whatever his Drew brand or whatever. Like it's all like lowercase letters. Like such nonsense.
There's a rumor he may do a little bit of performance at the game.
Do you see who they announced as the performers for the All-Star game?
No, I thought Bieber was going to be one of them.
No, okay. He's not. At least they didn't announce it. But like, so Glorious Sons is headlining. I'm a fan of that band.
Okay. Yeah, I love Glorious Sons.
Everyone else I have not heard of. Like there was one picture was like some dude with like colored hair and lipstick, and then people were like, all the comments were just like, I've never heard of this guy, and then all the comments were just like, once again, the NHL does not understand its audience.
No, you know what I'm saying, and that's interesting. You said that because at my age, I don't think those uniforms were marketed for me. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Because I never got that lower cast on the bottom. Like
stupid.
I've seen in some of the pro teams and some of the college teams, they put the name in a different spot. But I've never seen it done in that way. Kind of weirds me out. I go, why? Is that the TikTok?
I think it's different for the sake of being different. That's what it feels like.
They don't look good. However, one of the colors is already sold out.
Yeah, on the Real Sports website, the blue jerseys is already sold out somehow.
Is it due to the fact that we talked about this, is that they will become instant collector's items? I don't see why. I'm telling you,
they're not even aesthetically like the ones I had last year in Florida. Like those were cool jerseys.
Okay, no. Yeah, I thought the design it was a little new age.
Well, it was a throwback to the '90s ones with the little like Miami Vice.
Yeah, stuff like that. I got it. The theme at the time where the game was.
But what's Toronto going for? Like primary colors? Like I don't get it.
I'm of this thing, and I talked to my brother about this concerning the Detroit Lions. He says, I'm glad we're wearing these uniforms on Sunday because I'm going, whatever. Detroit Lions, Dallas Cowboys, Toronto Maple Leafs, Chicago Blackhawks, New York Yankees. You know where I'm going with this. Those traditional uniforms so represent the franchise in a way, like, you see it and that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Iconic.
Yeah. In this world of TikTok and history was last week and all that kind of nonsense, I wonder, it's the market.
Well, history is now.
Okay, in the moment. Okay, let's forget what we said 5 minutes ago because that's history. Okay, but in any event, I think it's the marketing. What it is like they're just finding another way to try to get the pesos out of your pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's not a good way.
No, but I mean, like that's what I'm saying. This is definitely not marketed for somebody my age.
I feel like it's not marketed for someone my age either.
Really? Okay, then I'll go to that. Because you see, at my age, the only thing they marketed for you is things that makes your bowels move in Viagra. That's, you know what I mean? Nothing else. I haven't seen anything else that I'm going like, and thank God I have none of those issues. However, that's the only thing I'm saying at my age. And the great Tony Kornheiser on PTI makes jokes about it all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Once you get to a certain age, you're no longer part of the marketing team looks at you anymore. However, they don't understand that the amount of people over 50 years old that are still hardcore watching sports is a huge demographic.
For sure.
You know what I mean? It's not respected in this world today because
you're not the demographic that's going out and buying things.
But we're the ones that are putting the ratings on your TV show, and you say, how come so many people were watching the game? We're all
for sure.
We're the guys.
I agree. But you're not. But the advertisers aren't marketing to you.
No, I mean, okay, just look at it. When you sit down and watch a game with your dad, and your dad brings up all the old stuff that he's seen over the years. Why? Because your dad was a diehard. You know what I mean? He knows the game. He's been watching the game how many years, whatever the case may be. And I think it's an interesting dichotomy.
You don't know my dad very well, do you? He's not a diehard at all.
No? I thought it was more your mom's more?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, Mrs. Milani. Okay.
My mom, you cut her open, she bleeds blue.
Wow. But I mean, your family is obviously sports oriented.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That's
her father, big Leafs fan, big soccer fan.
Oh yeah, that's what
her brother, big Blue Jays fan, big Bills fan, big Raptors fan.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Sports is engraved in your
Yes.
family. That's what I'm getting at. So you get the old to the new, and sometimes I think that when you're watching it, golf's got the biggest problem when you want to talk about that issue. But we're getting off track. Who's watching golf? Me.
Yeah, that's the old dudes are watching golf.
Oh, whatever the case.
That's when we see all the Viagra ads.
But I'm wondering how this is going to be pulled off. If we do one more thing about the All-Star game is, believe it or not, it's one of the most hyped up All-Star games I've seen in a long while.
You think so?
I'm going to tell you why, because I have the box and I've been watching NHL Network and some of the broadcasts from Americans who are horrible. No disrespect, but the bottom line is they've been talking about Toronto Original Six being a relevant team, the tradition of hockey in Canada, and all that other stuff they're bringing to the table. Like, what do you think of it? If the All-Star game was in Columbus, you think it'd be this hyped?
I don't agree that it has been getting hyped though. Like, I think it's just like marketed like any other All-Star game.
But I'm hearing more talk about it than other. Maybe because we're in the market.
I think that's why.
Okay, maybe it is. Yeah, I should take a look at that because you should be in the market, because I've heard good, bad, and ugly about why it's in Toronto. But the number one thing is Hockey Hall of Fame here. You got a storied franchise.
We have NHL offices here.
NHL offices, yeah. Just keep adding it on, and it makes sense why the game is here, so to speak. But let's get talking about the real issues in the NHL at the halfway point of the season, where we said at the beginning of the season we would begin to assess who is the pretenders and who are the...
Oh, so Leafs number one pretender.
Ooh.
No, they're playing fucking pathetic. Like, they're blowing leads every night.
Oh.
Samsonov gave him such a great opportunity to win against the Red Wings on Sunday. What do? They throw him to the Wolves.
Okay, I agree. I mean, Samsonov...
Come on.
Horrible on the last goal. He was Samsonov on the last.
He gave him a chance to win, though.
Oh, yes, he did. I'll give him credit for that. It was just too bad.
The Red Wings were sitting on a plane for 8 hours. You couldn't beat them? Come on.
Point well taken.
Come on.
However, it's going to go back to what's going to haunt you guys forever, and let's see what happens at the trade deadline. And we know how the cap situation works. I hear about it all the time. I look at Cap Friendly. I'm really glad you educated me on that point. But I'm going to say something right now. Your back end has to do something. O'Reilly can't play 60 minutes. O'Reilly can't play 60 minutes a night. I think he's all-star caliber, but at the end of the year...
I think so, too. He deserves to be at the All-Star game.
And not only that, I think at the end of the year, if he continues his performance at the end of the year, he might be second-team All-Star, but I think that he deserves some credit.
I don't know about second-team All-Star, but...
Oh, he'll be up there. Who's going to be ahead of him? Makar, Hughes?
Quinn Hughes, yeah.
Like, those two guys are front runners.
Automatic, yeah.
Yeah, but after that, there's a lot of guys that are playing on Riley's level around the league that haven't got to the next level, but we're going to wait and see. That's another story.
But they definitely got to do some shuffling with that back end, though. Like, TJ Brody, he's been awful.
Oh,
you didn't want to admit it earlier in the year. I was kind of saying there's some cracks in the armor showing with TJ Brody.
What about that pass the other night? Who was he passing? He got an assist on that goal, didn't he?
Who?
And was it the Calgary? Did he get an assist on that goal? Did he not? It was a Colorado game, I think.
Yeah, it's Colorado.
Did he get an assist on that goal?
You should get like a negative assist for that.
Whatever.
They take one away from you.
Oh, but you know what I mean? And like I said, I'm an 8-hour-a-day sports guys right now, and I really listen to one things they're saying. And a lot of teams do it, but it's at the time you do it is throwing a donut to the other team at the wrong time. Like, you're a professional. Who was Brody passing it to? Okay, now let's take a next step further. One of the other goals. McCabe threw it around the net to who?
Oh, that's McCabe's favorite move, throwing it around the net to the other team.
To the other team. I know other teams do it, but it seems that, is it the pressure in Toronto? I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
It happens
It just looks like a lack of awareness to me.
Which gets back to your favorite subject, the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I'm saying...
How desperate is this guy? Pontus Holmberg on the first line? Come on. If that doesn't scream desperate.
Well, I think you disrespected the kid, or did he miss the game? Nice. When you put him on the first line, why'd you do that? Why did they put him on the first line?
Why did they put him on the first line?
Yeah.
Why is that disrespecting him?
Oh, I mean, like he's now playing with Matthews and Marner. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
What does that have to do with Knies?
Why did he stay on the line with Marner and them? But why did they move him up?
Holmberg's on the top line still with Matthews and Marner.
Why?
I don't get that.
That's
desperate.
That's what I'm saying. So that's
no, but what did you bring up about Knies? I don't get that.
Because then he got moved back.
Oh, yeah.
What about his
But Knies and Domi have chemistry.
Agreed. And I think Domi's your most underrated player on your team this year.
Well, him and Bertuzzi, their 5-on-5 scoring is actually better than Tavares and Nylander this year.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And those guys go out there playing every shift hard. Like Bertuzzi is now the guy that you traded for or signed.
Yep.
He's definitely signed. And I don't see Domi taking a shift off.
No.
You know
Bertuzzi,
what I mean?
like, the thing about him, though, is, like, he looks like he's, like, a beat off half the time. You know what I mean?
He's a drummer that didn't come in on time. But he plays good.
Sure.
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, he always seems to be, if he was just a step before, he had been...
A step before or a step after. Like, he's always just, like, a step off.
But his effort cannot be denied.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I'm just saying that your back end is having difficulty getting the puck out of the net. So I'm going to say something absolutely outrageous is going to piss you off because we do keep tabs on the Habs. If you had our top six defensemen, instead of your six defensemen, I believe you guys would be a Stanley Cup contender. Because whatever you say about the Montreal Canadiens, no, look who we have. We have two good veterans in Matheson and Savard, even though Matheson he overplays. But he's great bringing the puck out of the zone. We got the kid Gooley, who's played great. Strubal's come out of nowhere to hit everybody and play. And Barron's good.
How much of that is systems and coaching, though?
Marty St. Louis is doing an amazing job.
That's my point.
Okay, now we did get bombed 6-2 the other night, but that was our sixth game in 9 nights, wasn't it? So that's like, you have those scheduled losses.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a bad time to lose because we're within 4 points of the playoffs, and I'm not still going to say that the Habs are going to make the playoffs yet. I'm hoping they do, but we show up every night.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then there's going to be the scheduled loss. Like, what was it last week? Colorado was in that great run, and then they ran into Boston, got their ass kicked 5-2. So it's the same in all sports. There's going to be the scheduled type losses. However, it's the effort on the ice.
I agree.
And what's going on your back end. And Toronto has, and you know who's starting to do it too? Catch me off guard. Who have good defensemen? The New York Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
They've lost some games because and I've seen Fox make a couple of like, wait a second, did you just do that? It's the same thing. You get a little pressure on you and you throw the puck around the net, but who's there? I noticed that recently, Gooley did that on Montreal. He sat for a few shifts.
As you should.
Exactly, but they don't do that on Toronto. The guy's back out in the next shift.
Like Keefe plays his spots weird with that. Like there was the one game where like Nylander and Tavares didn't see the ice for like the last 10 minutes, but like stuff like that feels like too little, too late.
Yeah, but you know, and I think you're insulting those guys. I know the game you're talking about because Nylander didn't back check a couple times.
Yeah.
Okay, he got caught in the back check, but because he was expecting the forward to he didn't expect him to throw it around the net. He was expecting the pass to go forward, which Matheson does very well. Even though Matheson in Montreal overplays the puck at times. I will admit that.
That's been his problem everywhere he's gone.
Yeah, he overplays the puck. But, I mean, his performance is above what we expected this year.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Same with Savard. And that's a steadying...
Well, Savard's good. He's always been good.
Yeah, but they say it's a steadying influence in the dressing room.
That makes sense.
Okay, who's the steadying influence in the Toronto Maple Leaf dressing room now?
Oh, I miss Jake Muzzin, man.
How can you not? Okay, let's just say this. It's finally happening. Father Time is catching up with Giordano.
Yeah.
Okay? You got that issue. Brody is showing cracks in the armor, and McCabe is making too many mistakes. That's one guy on each of your pair.
Each pair,
on each pair that's susceptible.
Giordano you can get away with because he's like a third pair guy, but like...
And most of the times he does it.
Even McCabe, like, I mean, the second and third pair in the Leafs are kind of like, that line is blurred, but Brody, man, that's That's a big issue you got to fix.
Exactly.
That's your top pair D.
I think he's been on the ice for when the Leafs have been blowing those leads.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was on the ice for 4 or 5 of those goals.
Is he like the new Brian McCabe whenever there's the goal against the team? There's like Cameron,
Oh,
TJ Brody.
yeah. You know what? We mentioned that earlier in the year, and I think that's shameful for Toronto to do that. You know the guy makes a mistake, so then what you can do is you flash onto him so everybody that's got a podcast like us or everybody that's sitting in the bar go, did you see that? You know what I mean? So don't shame the guy.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? So what do you expect from the Leafs tonight? This is a huge game.
Oh, we're getting blown out this weekend. I don't think we win in Vancouver or Seattle.
I'm taking Toronto to win tonight when we do our picks. I'm going to say it right now.
Well, your loss.
Oh, no. I'm going to tell you why. The Toronto Maple Leafs seem to have this. Like, look they were down 2-0 to Calgary. Okay?
Yeah. Oh, they didn't show up for the first 10 minutes of that game. It was embarrassing.
So what we are doing now is we are seeing the transition from Austin Matthews, in my opinion, from being the guy that scored goals, that was on the edges, to now being a force in the middle.
I agree.
He's knocking guys.
Him and Riley are like, and I guess Joseph Wall too. He's just been out for a long time. Are like the 3 guys in the team. Like, I would not criticize at all on this team.
No,
those are the 3 like front to back have done their job.
Okay, so
let's
let's put it one day further, and this is not going to be an indictment, maybe an indictment of your coach. Remember when he decided to shake things up and put Marner on one line and Nylander on the other line, forgetting that Matthews hit about 7 posts in that little stretch there. Remember what's along the line? He hit about 7 posts or whatever the case may be. However, did you see the goal the other night when Matthews left it for Marner? He scooted it around, and Marner threw that puck to a spot. That's chemistry.
Sure.
You know, and it was in the net. It was in the red line. But me and my PVR, I rewound that play because I remember Austin Matthews was behind the net on the other side.
Right.
Full skated around, didn't stop skating, didn't stop his energy. Marner came in, picked up the pot, and just threw it. And where was Matthews? Mm-hmm. It was a beautiful goal.
Right.
That's chemistry. So, Coach, you should never split that up for the rest of the year.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. The whole thing is desperate. And, like, there's the big issue, though, is the lack of accountability. Let's be real.
Oh, okay.
When Marner said we've been playing great hockey, I want to take a page of your book and throw something at the TV.
Yes, no.
Or just throw something across the room. I didn't care. But, like what are you talking about? You played, like, a good 20 minutes against Colorado. You didn't show up for the second and third period. That's great hockey? Fuck off. You're going to get swept in the playoffs if that's how it goes.
We're going to get to the metrics in a minute. However, let's just talk about that. Marner, and I've heard it everywhere, the guy grew up in the city. We've talked about this before.
Of course.
He's
Markham boy.
And well versed in the history of the franchise. Went to probably the most storied franchise in the OHL.
Yeah, London Knights.
Okay, so he's been on the high end of hockey all his life. And
he was on one of the top AAA teams in the GTHL, too.
There you go.
Don Mills.
Yeah, and so now let's take it one step further. After a game, you come up to a microphone and you say, what?
We've been playing great hockey.
Oh, my God. I would have...
The cope is real.
I would have rather him said, we gave it a good effort, we made some mistakes, but we got to think about the next game. Than what
I agree.
But to say that on TV, he got eaten alive. But the word around the campfire is he doesn't trust the press in Toronto. Shouldn't he understand that this is the most media-scoped team in the NHL? He should know that. He's a kid. He grew up here. So you're going to go out to the media and you're going to... So how
much of that is some bad advice he's getting by...
his agent?
I was going to say his dad.
Ooh, okay, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to leave dads out of it. I'm a dad.
Hey, Paul Marner, you put himself in this conversation.
Well, yeah, we know that. But the bottom line is, like, you should know better this long. He's not a kid anymore. He's played 8 years. 8 years in Toronto. He's seen the press every day. They got more press at a Toronto Leaf game than probably any other organization in any sport in North America.
Wow.
Except maybe the Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees.
Yeah.
But I mean, Knicks. They're right up there. Knicks, yeah, they're right up there. So doesn't he, he hasn't had education in media?
Of course he has.
Then why would you say something that
he's a spoiled brat? That's why.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed that I picked this team to go far in the playoffs at the beginning of the season. Like, it's not going to happen.
Okay, well, we're gonna talk about that.
And then there's talk now that, like, they're going to, like, whatever, like, move around, like, the edges on this team. What's, like, or reorganizing the chairs in the Titanic? Like, what are we doing?
That's what you're going to do. You know what I mean? There's a couple of defensemen out there, though. There's a few defensemen out there.
Like who?
The 2 guys on Calgary. the kid on Anaheim, the kid on Columbus.
What do you trade for them, though?
I don't know yet, but
that's a big problem.
You know what I mean? You need some, like, one more stable. I think you can get away with your defense because your offense is good enough and you got 40 games to rectify it. If you can come up with that one steadying guy, like a Savard type guy.
You know what we need? We need to lose these next 2 games so we can fire Keefe faster. I'm serious. And then hire, like, I don't know, a hard-ass, Gerard Gallant. Why not?
Oh, Gallant's on the sidelines, isn't he?
Yeah. I'd want Craig Berube too, but I doubt he's still fresh off the job in St. Louis, so I imagine he's going to want to take a little bit of a break.
No, I think that Gerard Gallant would be the guy. I wonder how he'd shake up the freaking country club in the Toronto Maple Leafs dressing room. You know what I mean?
I'd wonder if management would want him, though. That's my concern.
He's not a management guy. We know that.
Yeah.
Everybody knows he's not a management guy. But the bottom
So are we going to do another softball coach like Sheldon Keefe?
Ooh, but he's a strategist, isn't he?
Oh, okay, well, what good strategy if you can't get your players to buy in?
And
you never hold your top players accountable.
That's the number one time.
The one time he actually had anything critical to say about the big boys to the media, he walked it back. Not even 24 hours. I don't even think it was 12 hours later. He walked it back.
You know what I mean? And St. Louis has made some cracks, and Torts has made some cracks.
Sure.
Cooper's made some cracks, but they don't back down from what they say.
What about in Colorado? The players are holding each other accountable. Devin Taves, remember?
Oh, excellent.
I love that.
Why wouldn't you want that on our team? He came right out the media. What do you say?
And I love Devin Taves, by the way. I think he's such an underappreciated defenseman in this league.
Like, that's what you guys need. Yeah. You need a guy like that.
I still can't believe the Colorado got him for 2 second-round picks from the Islanders. That might be like the biggest steal
in a long time.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to the Islanders because they're another weird
they're
team.
falling off the cliff.
There's a weird-ass team. But anyway, we're at the midway point of the season, so we're not going to – I always say when you start the beginning of the season, especially in a game like hockey, there's so many games that there's so many variables, there's so many things that could happen that sometimes we have an idea what's going to happen during the season, but there's just – the winds of change happen everywhere, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
So when you look at the beginning of the season, there were certain teams that we projected to be – in a certain position: Boston Bruins, New York Rangers, Colorado Avalanche, Toronto Maple Leafs. Who am I missing? Okay.
Like what that we thought would be high up there?
It's going to be up there.
Vegas.
Now. Vegas. Okay, so let's just use those teams now. First thing I want to do is I want to apologize to the city of Winnipeg and to Winnipeg Jets.
Yes.
Because on this show, I was like calling them the Coyote with the anvil and the Acme cliff and the Acme weight on the edge of the cliff,
the anvil,
waiting for the Roadrunner to go beep beep. That's what I was waiting for. I don't know what's gone on in Winnipeg. Number 1 team in the league right now.
But number 3 right now.
2, yeah, because they lost a couple in a row, right?
But they're still up there.
Oh, they're still. But and you know what? What I'm going to get at now.
And they have games in hand actually on the teams that are ahead of them. So
exactly,
they could be back at number 1 before you know it.
So, anyways, I'm an old school guy. I'm going to look at the standings now, completely different than any way I talked about it for the whole year, and I'm going to go to the Scotty Bowman school of how you get to the Stanley Cup. Every year now, it's called the Vezina. Now it's the Jennings, right? Best team with the goals against average.
Yeah, the Jennings.
Veterans for the best goaltender. Every year he used to say, the first thing you should try to do is win the Vezina. That was a Scotty Bowman credo. Win the Vezina, you got a chance at winning the Stanley Cup. So today's age, it's win the Jennings, and you got a chance at winning the Stanley Cup.
Although, look at the last few Jennings winners. They have not done well in the playoffs.
That's where I might be getting a little off board, but I'm going to stick to it in this way. If you look at the metrics right now and the teams that I would say would go forward, let's just say, here's how it's going to work. I don't think you have to be the top 10 scoring team in the league, but I do believe you have to be a top 10 goals against average team.
I think you got to be top 10 in both.
Okay.
Those are the teams that usually win the cup.
Okay, but I'm saying I want my goals against average to be better than my goal production in this sense.
Sure.
Winnipeg has not given up 3, though they finally gave up 4 goals, didn't they, the other night?
The first time since early October.
30 games, yeah, with something, whatever the case may be. So when you look at that metric, there's 3 things I'm going to talk about. Your goals against average, okay? And number 2 is your special teams. Because if you look at it in the playoffs, your special teams are highlighted amazingly, plus your goal differential. Mm-hmm. So if you go around the league right now, I'm going to say that the teams that have inspired me to believe in these metrics are the Vancouver Canucks, the Winnipeg Jets. The New York Rangers are there, even though they've had issues of late.
Still top of their division, though.
Still top of their, and they got a great differential. Sneaky good numbers is a team.
Well, I mean, their differential has kind of fallen back a little bit.
A little bit, but they got 40 games to rectify it. But the other team that you drag their dick in the dirt every chance you possibly can get, whose metrics aren't bad, are the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've seemed to figure it out along the way.
Their goal differential is only a +1.
But I'm saying their goals against average is solid in their top 10 in the league in scoring.
How's their 5-on-5 scoring?
That's about it. But you see, that's why I'm saying
that's crucial, though.
Agreed. So that, I'm saying it's not that it's pretty good, but their power play is up there. Same with the Leafs, but the Leafs are nowhere near the top 10 in goals against average, and that could play against them in the playoffs unless their power play and their special teams are on this level. Like you look at Vancouver, you look at Winnipeg. These guys also have the top penalty killing teams in the league. LA did have one of the top penalty killing teams.
Talk about another team that's fallen off the cliff. I can't believe Edmonton passed them.
Okay, so let's get to Edmonton. That's my final team I want to talk about. I do not think that run and gun will win in the playoffs. They're just blowing teams away. And their goal differential is getting insane now. Did you check it out?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. They're +25 right now. Considering that terrible start is amazing.
That's what I'm saying. But looking at their back end, are they still in the top 10 in goals against average? No, because they win a lot of 6-5 games.
Well, I stand by what I said about them at the beginning of the season. I think you need an upgrade on defense. Like, you can't go in there with Cody Ceci as your top 4, top pair guy.
So we're getting back to what I'm saying. Yeah. The thing about the Edmonton is going to get there is going to kill them is their goals against average, and the fact that their special teams are not the best penalty killing team in the league.
No.
You know what I mean? So
that being said, I wouldn't want to run into them in the playoffs.
Well, I'm just saying that because you're also pointing out, which I should have checked before the show, is that you said some of the teams with the best metrics did not go as far in the playoffs as they were supposed to because they were upset. So if I were to pick today, right now, off the top of my head, I think a Canadian team may make the finals this year from the West. But I think Florida might have a return to where they are going.
Oh, yeah.
They're big, bad, ugly, good goaltending, good special teams, great on 5-on-5, and I hate the team.
Me and my friends were actually talking about this, where I was like, you know what? If you're the Leafs, like, playing as a wild card would not be the worst thing because I would not want to play Florida in the first round.
Okay, so who would they play if they're a wild card then?
I would take my chances with Boston or New York, honestly.
Maybe, I'm going to say. But this Florida team... They were everything. Scary. Yeah, they are. And they're mean. Do you think Barkov should be in the MVP conversation?
I don't think he has the scoring numbers to back it up. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but they want to change it now to the best. He's going to get the Selke.
He is going to get, which I called at the beginning of the season. Thank you very much. Yeah. But
he's sneaky dirty, too.
I still think McKinnon's going to be the Hart Trophy winner.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, he's been fantastic this year. Leading the league in assists. He's number 2 in points right now. He's just an animal. Just an animal.
I don't mean to say this, but I've seen Austin Matthews make some McKinnon-type moves lately, which has really impressed me. Like
I think he's going to be in the if the Leafs make the playoffs. Like he's going to be in the conversation too. But
okay, so the Leafs make the playoffs,
especially if he has like a 70-goal season. Like they might hand it to him. You know what I mean? Be fair,
what's he got now?
37 in like what 41 games or something,
whatever the case may be, and he only scored 40 last year. That's
only 40.
That's going to be his off season, is 40 goals. I mean, like we mentioned it on this show before, and I'm going to continue to say it. He's the purest goal scorer in the NHL by far.
Yo, he's the best goal scorer in the league. Yeah, now
there's nobody can touch the guy. Like, I mean, there's other good goal scorers, Pasternak.
The way he's going, he's going to actually be the Leafs' all-time leader in goals by the end of next season.
Really? Already? Wow. That's passing Daryl Sittler?
And Sundin.
I hate Sundin. Why'd you bring his name up? Just ruining my day.
Because he's the Leafs' all-time leader in goals.
You brought up Matt Sundin. We got to have a moratorium on Matt Sundin, okay?
Oh, God.
I'm just going to say, can I put it on the record? You know what I mean? When I walk my dog and he poops on your lawn and I have to pick it up, that reminds me of Matt Sundin.
Oh, my God.
Okay, that's where I'm at with that guy. I will never be a Matt Sundin.
You have such an unhealthy hatred for Swedish people.
I don't.
Yes, you do. you drag Swedish people's dick in the mud all the time on this show.
I love Sweden. I love those beautiful women. I love those soundscapes. I like the mountains. I like that they have fresh water. Can I say they got a nice stadium that they played the World Juniors.
How many like Swedish people have you not like dragged through the dirt? Nylander, you seem to like him.
Okay, that's good.
And it ends there.
I had some moments for Matt Snaslin. I had some Matt Snaslin moments.
I've never heard you bring up his name on the show before.
Okay, so I'm going to bring it up now. I had some Matt Snaslin love, okay? And I liked the guy that played for the New York Islanders who was underrated when Dennis Potvin was God. Oh, they had a great Swedish defenseman. He almost made me change my mind about what goes on in Sweden. But no, Matt Sundin, no, let's cut to the chase here. So if you see me in the bar and you want to cause trouble, I almost got punched in the head back in the day because I used to go into the bars and...
I know you've told this story.
Okay,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you go check his record. Go check the thing. He'd score 15 goals in 15 minutes, and then you wouldn't see him for 20 games. Go check the numbers. I'm going to check this by next week. Okay. Oh, no, I'm going to look up Matt Sundin's stats. Come on. I'm going to pick up my
God forbid you back up your argument with facts.
I'm going to. I'm going to go and I'm going to study the Matt Sundin trail and put this to bed. How tough was he?
It's very tough.
Matt Sundin?
Yeah.
He was just big. He wasn't tough. He was big. God. Guy was what, 6'5"?
6'5", yeah.
Yeah, he was just big. He wasn't tough.
He was tough.
Tough what? Tough love. Tough what?
Strong little tough love.
He's Matt Sundin. Anyways, we're getting way off traffic. And I do, listen, for all the people that are listening from Sweden, I love you all. Okay, can we get that straight once in a while? I do not want to look like I have anything against Sweden. They have nice hair.
Okay.
They have nice hair too. Okay. Yeah, they have nice hair. Okay. But anyway, let's get back to our thing. We're finished on the NHL right now. I'm hoping like hell Montreal does make a run and make the playoffs because I think we're a very competitive team. But
you're still a few points back.
Yeah, so I think we're going to be outside looking in. If we look,
at least you won't be last or even second. You know what? You're ahead of Buffalo right now for second last. Ottawa though, like what?
But they kicked us the other night. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we played amazing. We played amazing against New Jersey. We played amazing against Colorado. We wet the bed against San Jose, and we went to bed against Ottawa. Are we forgetting? Like maybe St. Louis is doing a good job. Are we playing down to the competition, or we're not thinking? Come on, like we're playing against the good teams. One of our best games of the year was against New Jersey the other night. Amazing hockey game, and I think New Jersey was one of my sleepers. At the beginning of the season, if you want to go back to the shows, I think that team's a wreck. They can't do anything with Jack Hughes.
Oh, they're one of those teams like LA, like they desperately need a goalie.
Oh yeah, but not only that, they're not there. Like if you look at their metrics 20 games ago till now, their power play numbers have come down. Their goal scoring's come down, and their goals against has gone up on all levels. So I'm just saying, and it is goaltending. I will give you that.
It's a big part of it. They're not getting saves.
But one of the things we should bring up is the Hughes kid that plays defense. He might end up being the best of the three of them.
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
He is amazing.
But New Jersey, they have an even goal differential, which is the interesting part.
No, because early in the season, they were so far up. Remember and Hughes hasn't played in 8 games. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Him and Heischer have both missed a significant time.
And which has now affected their power play.
Sure.
It's now affected the play in their own end. So if they come back, I think they could right the ship. But I'm like early in the year, I was talking about New Jersey will be my sleeper. They're going to be a sleeper team.
They might not make the playoffs, surprisingly.
Exactly.
I had them winning the President's Trophy.
Wow. But I mean,
I didn't think their goaltending was in it. I was like, okay, Vanacek was serviceable. Schmid was like a savior for them in the playoffs. What happened to him? He's back in the minors.
Because he can't freaking stop a beach ball. That's a problem. But that's what I'm saying. LA's problem, too. And LA's got those big defensemen. Now, they've had some minor injuries.
Yeah.
Like a couple of starters have gone on and they expect to come back. But LA can't win a close game.
Which is like not what I would have thought at all from them at the beginning of the season.
No, and we question their goaltending. So my top 4 teams in the NHL right now as we speak are not the Boston Bruins because I think they have some cracks in their armor. I'm saying the top 4 teams in the league from right now, and I think the metrics are going to show it. Vancouver, Winnipeg, Florida. Okay, they're my 3. The 4th, I'm not really...
Why not Boston, though?
What?
Why not Boston?
Because I think their goaltending's a little overrated.
Really?
And that's a huge statement coming from
I heard they're going to trade Ullmark, though.
They better keep both. I think they should.
I think it would be a mistake to trade one of them too, but that's the word on the street.
I've heard that too because they just gave what's his name?
Swayman.
They just given him the contract or about to give him the contract.
And his numbers are better this year.
Oh yeah, and he's been solid both ways, but he's a bit of a flopper too. Okay, and I don't think that Boston's defense moves as quickly as everyone thinks it could. It's just that Boston's got those 4 lines. They come at you with the 4 lines, which is huge. But the other team I'm still going to be on because they're not as consistent, but I like their numbers, is Colorado. You know what I
they've
mean?
evened out ever since Tays called them out.
Yeah, like they've really risen up. And look at.
They might need to add some rentals here or there, but I think they're mostly solid.
The thing is that Winnipeg's got 3 games in hand on them. If they win 2 or 3, they're going to keep the distance there. I'm disappointed what happened to Dallas. I thought Dallas would be one of the teams I'd be talking about.
Oh, they're another one. Like Ryan Suter playing too many minutes there.
Whatever. I'm disappointed in Dallas. I'm going to say Vegas. They're just Vegas, so don't count them out of the ticket. But I'm going to say my 4 biggest contenders right now are Vancouver, Winnipeg, Florida, and Colorado. Anybody in the East. I think the East is just
it's wide open. Besides Florida.
Yeah, and Florida's tough. They're mean. You know what I mean? I always use that comparison from Looney Tunes where the
bull sharpening the horn.
I think everybody does that on Florida because they're just mean. And not only that, you know what's good about them is their penalty kill. They are so aggressive. I seen them the other night. They scored a goal shorthanded and almost scored 2 more.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And Sam Reinhart's having a career season there too.
Are they going to sign him? He's having an amazing season. Top
they have
5.
To.
I mean, I don't think he has the most. He's got 30 goals now, right?
Yeah.
He's a guy that when he gets in that position, he knows where to put in the puck. You know what I mean? Like he skates to those open spaces and he fires. Good hockey player. I never thought we'd say this about Reinhart, but
he was a 2nd overall pick. Don't forget.
Yeah, but he had that bumpy road along the way.
Well, because he was drafted by Buffalo.
I didn't say that. You did. Isn't Buffalo? Big shout out to Jack Eichel. I hope he's okay.
Yes.
Big shout
he's
out
week to week.
Yes, like it's such a drag in sports, especially hockey, which is the fastest, toughest game. Sorry, football, because you get a shot at a guy, but really hockey is the fastest, toughest game, and the increase in speed, and especially in the last 10 years, I don't care if I hate you. I'd never want to see Matt Sundin get injured.
Right.
That's my point. You know what I mean? Regardless of where we think about you and where you are, when I heard Jack Eichel got hurt, and Vegas has been up and down since, except the other night they won a big game.
Yeah, they had a big losing skid. It looks like they're crawling their way out of it, though.
I hate Mark Stone. Just saying that. Can I throw that out there before we leave hockey?
A little hatred from the Ottawa days?
Just because I don't know. He rubs me the wrong game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Any hockey things you want to bring up?
So Corey Perry's coming close to back to signing with the team. The rumor is it's come down to 3 teams: Edmonton, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. I think it's going to be Edmonton.
You know I've been dying to bring up this subject. Okay? So here we go. This will be the last thing we talk about hockey, but this is the thing about sports.
Well, no, it's not, but...
What's that?
It's not the last thing we talk about hockey.
I think it should have been the last thing, but because we got a couple more things, is like, does anybody, and I've been practicing this all week, does anyone know who Nichushkin is?
Oh, you almost had it. Nichushkin.
Nichushkin.
Hey, there you go.
Okay, I've been practicing it all week. I have a little bit of difficulty with sometimes that when off-the-field related incidents affect the competition on the ice. Okay? Nichushkin's having a great season.
His best season.
Okay, and I think he's going to be pivotal to how far Colorado goes when the playoffs come around. Because
as he was pivotal when they won the Cup.
Exactly. So, I don't know what's wrong with this guy, and I'm not going to say it's because he's Russian. However, this guy has issues with alcohol, women, and off-the-field details, which are atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. As a house that happens, as morally standard people that have been brought up this way by our parents, there's certain ethical things I do not understand, and I will never give a player a pass on any ludicrous, ridiculous, maybe illegal thing that they have done. Well, Vander Franco seems to have paid somebody wherever he is because he's going to show up in training camp, so to speak. Baseball, another story. But those kind of issues come up. But what has gotten to me is that we're talking about Corey Perry every day. Now, I said this before.
I don't agree with that. But
what's that?
The Corey Perry news cycle kind of like, it went away for like a month.
Well, I think it's because everyone said to be quiet because everybody wanted him on a team. That's my take on the matter. And as soon as it came up, everybody was there. You were talking about, because we do have another issue to talk about hockey, but we were talking about it, and it came up like Corey Perry is a valued commodity because of his size, his experience, and his playoff performance. Cannot be denied. We do not know what happened with Corey Perry, and we do not want to speculate. The only thing that I believe, because of everything I've heard and read, is he did something inappropriate, but not illegal.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yeah.
Nichushkin, they might find out this guy did stuff illegal, and somehow in Colorado, they're wiping this under the table. So
I don't think it's just Colorado.
Well, wherever he's been.
I think it's the league, the Players Association. They don't like controversy.
So are they sweeping him under the table?
100%.
So why do we talk about Corey Perry? Why can't we sweep that under the table? He didn't do anything illegal.
The Chicago factor.
Agreed. We understand. So do you agree with the assessment that if Corey Perry was on any other team in the league, that they would that this would not be an issue?
That theory makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay, so they've got till February 28th to grieve this issue. Mm-hmm. They're not grieving the Nichushkin issue. They're just going to push that on the table. They're going to.
Well, that's because he's in the NHLPA Player Assistance Program.
Oh, stop it. Anyways, I'm not jumping that fence right now. Okay, but anyways, we got a situation here where they're now going to perhaps grieve the Corey Perry contract because they said they cannot have a precedent being set by a team terminating a contract
for nothing illegal
or on innuendo.
Yep.
Guys, they never said. So now, is this going to get messier? Because now the Players Association is going to have to justify why they're grieving this contract. Now, as unions go, and you know I'm not a big union fan, I can understand why they're grieving it because then that might set precedent for them when you make the NHL and...
oh, yeah, they could just toss you out for whatever, right? That you can't have that.
Okay, so maybe they should grieve the contract? Should grievance put in?
I mean, I would.
Well, that's the Players Association. I'm saying once bitten, twice shy. Move this out of the way. And let's get to the bottom of Nichushkin because I think this is a far more serious problem because now we're talking about a young man who may have a disease.
Yeah, well, even what happened in the offseason with him, that got swept under the rug too, right?
So we got to wait for strike three? That's why I'm saying I have issues with the balance of how we report things that go on in sports that happen off the field. That's all I'm saying.
A lot of it too is like the name of it. Like Corey Perry's like a sexier name, so to speak. Like
I
everyone.
This guy's
well,
got
hold on though.
Games.
Hold on though.
That guy.
The casual do the casual fans know Nichushkin? I would bet no.
Serious hockey fans know who he is.
I agree.
So who are the people supporting the league? Not people watching frickin' paddleball or pickleball.
No.
It's a serious fan. So if it's a serious fan and a serious issue, don't frickin' sugarcoat me. Don't tell me it's green when it's yellow. That's all I'm getting at. You know what I mean? And I respect Corey Perry because he played for my Montreal Canadiens and he had a nice run with us, remember?
Oh, when he took out John Tavares? Yeah,
Stop
nice.
it. He didn't take it out. That was
yes,
a clean
he did.
hit.
Look, check the tape.
Okay, I'm sorry that happened, but I don't think it was I don't think it was dirty.
I didn't say it was dirty. I just said he took him out. You threw out it was dirty.
I didn't say it was dirty. I'm just
you
saying
threw it out there.
Tavares had his head down.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Because I really like John Tavares a lot. He's turning into my favorite Maple Leaf.
Wow.
In this way, he shows up every game with his lunchbox. You know what I mean? Everybody questioned his contract. That was a great contract now. When you think about it, where it's gone. And he didn't score points in 4 games, and the whole world was talking about it. Come on, man. Give the guy a break. How many better centers? Okay, you're going to find better, but are you happy that he's your second-line center?
Absolutely.
There you go.
I've never had a problem with Tavares.
So just to say, he should have kept his head up in that play, and we'll end the Corey Perry, Nichushkin conversation with, if you're going to bring this shit up, go all the way on both sides, or I don't want to hear about any of it. Yeah,
easier said or done, though, once you get agents and unions involved.
Oh. What's our next subject you want to bring up about hockey?
So Louis Gross, who's William Nylander's agent, had a fantastic interview on 32 Thoughts.
I'm really glad you made me listen to it. I listened to the entire interview. Hey, oh, by the way, Elliot Freeman and Merrick, you guys can talk like you're not in a coffin. That's the only thing I had. It was bland. Like, show us a little enthusiasm. That's all. That's all, but continue.
Well, I think Merrick shows some enthusiasm. He's a bit of a nerd, but
Every 20, 25 minutes, he goes, oh! Okay, so I'll give him that. He's bland on TV, too. Very informative guy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get there.
Either way, Nylander's agent, Louis Gross, admits that agents fuck things up. In not so many words. But
Oh, who are you talking to here? Who are you talking to here?
agent hater number one.
Oh, that's why I'm president of the Haters Club. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I am the number one president of the Hater Club. Oh, by the way, speaking of agents, Zach Sandu, nephew of Serge, did get traded to Oshawa.
Oh.
Okay, and not only that.
Wow, one of the big franchises in
yes, he did,
OHL.
and he's played outstanding about that. But I asked that question to Serge about the agent. This kid's had an agent since he's 15 years old.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yeah, that drives me nuts. You know what I mean? So what I liked about, what's his name again? How do you say his name?
Louis Gross.
Louis Gross.
So, yeah, his point was that they fuck things up by basically going after these kids younger and younger. He talked about how, like, for a while he tried to play the high road, but he's like, I can't run my business that way.
Oh, wasn't that sad when you heard it?
Yeah.
Like, he straight out and said, this is the problem. And not only that, the thing that he said to me to preface that with, not only did he had to change his business, that's a longer time he had to deal with parents.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So you get an agent in 15 does not mean you're making the NHL.
No, of course not.
It doesn't. And you know, in AAU basketball is even worse. I heard the States, it's even worse.
I can imagine.
Like, that's even worse. And you know, it started in the soccer. They go down there with an agent to sign a
Plucking
kid.
kids at like 8 years old.
But I think the economies are different there because some of the kids, it was driven from taking them out of poverty.
Sure.
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. But if the kid's from Richmond Hill.
It happens here too.
Oh yeah, I know.
They have like the Juventus academies and whatever. Like,
well, anyways, the point being, I really wanted to thank him for shedding the light on the situation with ages with kids, because sometimes kids get ruined before they reach their maximum talent because the pressure from getting in the league, what agent you're going to go with, and the expectations of your parents. Like, and you know what I mean? So we might never see the guy. You know what I mean? It could be a Terry Ryan story, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, whatever happens there.
They might not even make it that far.
Thank you very much. But everybody should listen to that because he is an agent.
Yeah, it was the episode from last Friday, so January the 12th.
He is an agent. How many times have I said on this show, who's the scourge of the league?
Lawyers and agents.
And most agents are lawyers.
That's true.
So let's cut to the chase on this. What I'm hoping is that, and I don't think it will. I don't think it will. It's like guys that try to get their wives pregnant at this time of year as opposed to another time of the year because it'll advance them when they'll get to hockey age.
Oh my God!
Like I've heard that one too, and
that's fucking pathetic.
Is it not? But there's rumors around that, and I've heard dads have bragged, had the January kid. Like, what are you doing? Like, so what you've already done is your child has not even left the womb, and you have expectations that are unrealistic. There's only 650 jobs in the NHL. I'm glad you said that.
That's my number one pet peeve with parents. Like, when you're like trying to live your life like through them and whatever, like, because you didn't get that opportunity to be the hockey player or whatever. Like, it's sad. Like, let your kid have their life.
Okay, and I agree with that. And me and my son recently had a discussion about this. My son is a very good musician. I'm a music fanatic. I believe music is life. I've said that on the show 1,000 times. I did not push my son when he had opportunity. He's been on TV with bands that have called him up. He's had exposure. He's a good player. I've never pushed my son to, you know, man, son, you should play more. Yeah. Son, you should join this band. Son, you should write this song. Blah, blah, blah. He's pushing 40 years old and he's still playing with a band, but he's decided if something happens, he goes, I'm past my best before date, but I'm going to play because I love to play. That's good enough for me. Yeah. I think that sometimes athletes should feel the same way. So, John Carl Cruz, my cousin in the States, has a son. I'm going to call him up and ask if his son's got an agent because he's a very, very good basketball player, and I think he's just turning early teens. But he's already played in some of the bigger tournaments of basketball that starts with kids that age. Just like the Pee Wee tournament in Quebec, ice hockey tournament, like those kind of tournaments. So if we can do anything from the house that happens, we're not going to be pro agents, but we're going to be pro-parents. Take a step back here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm glad this gross guy pointed it out. In this day and age, you have to have an agent. You have to be able to get this, open the doors. And there's so many agencies that are trying to grab this kids because it's business.
Yep.
Don't ever forget, sports is a business. People forget that. Even me sometimes, who's watched for over 50 years. Great interview, though. Didn't you think so?
Fantastic interview.
You know what I mean?
They had a good one. They had a live show in Victoria that they just posted yesterday. They had some great interviews with Brian Burke and Kevin Bieksa.
Oh, that must have been highly entertaining. They had them on both at the same time?
No, it was back to back.
Oh, I want to see all three of them in the same room. That'd be like UFC tonight. You know,
their stories contradicted each other, which is always great. So
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Because they brought up the Torts story.
Oh yeah,
because like Burke was president in Calgary at the time, and Bieksa was the one that took the face off.
Exactly. Yeah, that's interesting. It's just like the Jay Gruden RG3.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that. I mean that gets away from what we call proper sports journalism, but that's a freaking that's a dumpster fire right now as we speak.
I'm hearing that.
You know what I mean? Like some of the things that RGC has said, and some of the things that Gruden have said. I liked it better, the lineman that said they both have, like, what did RG3 says? I will find the carcasses or whatever he said. And one of the guys said they both have, there's skeletons in both closets.
I believe
You know what I mean? But to get that nasty in public, ooh.
Oh, yeah, some bad blood there for sure. One more thing for hockey. So San Jose is going to retire Joe Thornton's number 19 next year. Jumbo Joe, one of our favorites here at the house. I'm speaking for myself, but I imagine you're a Joe Thornton fan too.
I was so glad when he left Boston. It was a happy day. I had a drink. And they traded him because he went to a Soundgarden concert. They traded Tyler Seguin. Tyler Seguin went to a Soundgarden concert, and Joe Thornton went to a Pearl Jam concert, whatever. Yeah. But they both went to events in Boston, and the rest of the team said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They're young kids. They like music. They went to a concert. So what? I was so happy when Joe Thornton got traded from Boston. It was disappointing he never got a Stanley Cup, though.
That's the one thing. But he's got the Olympic gold medals. He's going to go right into the Hall of Fame.
First ballot, as soon as he's on there, you know, they're going to trim his beard and take him in.
I hope he doesn't trim the beard. I love it.
And he still lives in California, eh?
I believe. No, didn't he move to Switzerland, or does he?
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's living in a place where he's living his best life with his kids for the rest of his life. Joe Thornton, we love you. Have a great afterlife, and I'm glad that they're retiring your number.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So on to our Saturday night pick'em. Last week, Cruz, you were 10 for 16. I was not as good.
I picked those crazy games that you didn't say, and they came out, didn't they?
Some of them did.
Yes, I know. And I watched a couple of them. I said, yes. What was one that I picked that was crazy? That was, nobody picked it. I mean, when they were showing the show, nobody picked it.
You picked Detroit to beat LA?
Yes. Yeah, didn't I pick Boston to lose too?
Boston. No, we both picked Boston won against St. Louis. We both picked them. Okay.
Well, what was the crazy game I picked? It was one that shouldn't have won.
Seattle at Columbus.
No, that was easy pick.
Nah, that's the only one that, like, the Detroit one's the only one that, like, you picked Montreal to lose, which was surprising.
Yeah.
You picked Colorado to beat the Leafs.
Yeah. I like that. Let's get tonight.
Islanders. Yeah, let's go.
But the Islanders are killing me. Like, let's just say this in our hockey segment. Notice we did not bring them up as one of the teams. And remember at the beginning of the year, I was kissing their ass as one of my them and the
even when they didn't start off well, you're like they'll bounce back. They'll bounce back.
Them and the Kings, and now I got no love for the Islanders. I don't know. I seen them the other night. They look like a wreck, even though they won in overtime.
They can take Pierre Engvall off our hands any day.
There you go.
And that 7-year deal.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Afternoon affair, or I guess late afternoon. Tampa Bay at Buffalo. Jonas Johansson starting for Tampa. Ukko Pekka Luukkonen starting for Buffalo. Believe it or not, I'm taking the Sabres.
I'm taking Tampa Bay all day.
Even without Vasilevsky.
Oh, the other guy's playing not bad. That's why they're putting him in net to give Vasilevsky the night off. So they got to beat him. Tampa Bay's right there.
For now.
We got a beer in this.
Colorado
Kucherov,
Avalanche.
5. Okay, continue.
Propped up by the power play. We know. Colorado at Philadelphia. Alexander Georgiev unconfirmed, but expected to start for Colorado. Carter Hart will start for the Flyers. I'm going to take Colorado on the road.
I'm leaning towards a bounce-back game because Colorado fell apart against Boston the other night. So I am, too, looking at Colorado to beat Philadelphia, who's been having a little leaking oil lately.
Haven't they won 5 in a row?
Well, did they come out? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're over at the 5-0. What? No, the Colorado will stop the streak.
But a big point, too, is this is kind of a revenge game. Philly got the win in Colorado.
Yes.
It was on a Saturday as well, so.
Torts has got that team playing amazing, eh?
He really does.
Yeah.
He really does. Nashville at Arizona. Both goalies unconfirmed, but it's expected to be UC Saros versus Connor Ingram. Coyotes have horseshoes up their ass at home, so I'm going to take Coyotes.
Not only that, their record on Saturday night is unbelievable.
Okay,
I think it's their record on Saturday night. I heard something about it.
So we're both on the Coyotes.
We're both on the Coyotes, yeah.
Winnipeg Jets at the Ottawa Senators. Hellebuck is going to be likely starting for Winnipeg. Unconfirmed for Ottawa, though, is Unis Korpisalo. He's the expected starter. I'm going to take Winnipeg.
All day on national TV, 2 Canadian teams. Winnipeg wants to get some respect. I'd like to know how is Sheffley doing. Didn't he get hurt? Was he off the ice? He got hurt the other night. Is he playing tonight?
I'm not sure.
I have to check the injury report.
Dallas Stars at the New Jersey Devils. Scott Wedgwood will start for Dallas. Nico Dawes is the expected starter for New Jersey. I'm going to take Dallas.
Me too. Let's stay on the road. Something's wrong with New Jersey. I think it's Jack Hughes will cure it when he comes back.
I would think so. But
and Buddy, too, the other center that has missed some games. Hershier or whatever his name is.
He's sure.
Yeah, another good. Like if
2 number 1 overall picks.
Yeah, and not only that, if that's your 1-2 center.
You're doing quite well.
Thank you.
Toronto Maple Leafs at the Vancouver Canucks. Both goalies unconfirmed, but it's expected to be Martin Jones versus Thatcher Demko. I made my opinions clear. I'm taking Vancouver.
Really? You made your opinion clear about the Leafs? I must have missed that somewhere along the line. I'm taking Toronto all night. I'm expecting Nylander to have 2 or 3 goals. You heard it here first.
Okay. 2 or 3 goals.
2 or 3 goals from my favorite Swedish player.
I thought it was Mats Naslund.
No, he's my second favorite.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
Wow, a Leaf is your favorite Swedish player.
No, I love Sweden. How's that? I love Sweden. Okay.
Montreal Canadiens at the Boston Bruins. Montembeault confirmed starter for Montreal, and it's expected that Linus Ullmark will start for Boston. I'm taking the Bruins.
I'm going to take Montreal just because if I don't, I have to go to church in the morning. Can I just say one thing about Montreal? And Serge, you're going to be listening to this. I'm still not happy with the 3 goalie system. I mean, Montembeault's playing every game because he's obviously our number one.
They're saying that they're fine with that if that lasts to the end of the year. I think they're full of shit.
Oh, 100%. That's just freaking Kent Hughes giving you PR talk. Because I'm going to tell you what, the main reason that we lost against Detroit the other night is Primo looked shaky. Because he hadn't played in about 10 days. He hadn't played. And he let in 2 that were like my favorite goal, the chip shot from the fairway. You know what I mean?
The Nicholas Lidstrom on Dan Cloutier.
Oh, 100%. And not only that, it seemed to take some wind out of the Habs sail.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? And then that's just snowballed and game over. But I'm saying Montembeault.
Montembeault starting.
Yep, I'm taking the Habs.
Okay, Washington at St. Louis. Charlie Lindgren expected to go for Washington. Jordan Binnington is confirmed for St. Louis. I'm going to take the Blues at home.
You still think Ovechkin's going to score 40 goals?
Maybe 30.
Stop it. Let's hope he gets 20. He hasn't got 10 yet.
No, he does not.
He doesn't even have 10. Lost his hands. That's what they say. The first thing goes on those players is your hands. When your hands go, you don't score no more.
I thought it was the feet. This is just bizarre. 8 goals on the year for Ovechkin.
And not only that, he's had some shots that have hit the goalie and bounced back, and it should have been his goal, but someone puts it in.
Oh.
He's had a few. You see that this week?
No.
He's had some assists. But the puck
His assist numbers are healthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he's put the puck on the net, the classic one-time Ovechkin, but someone pops in the rebound, it doesn't go in the net. So
who are you taking, St. Louis or Washington?
I'm taking Washington, and they're in the hunt. They're in the hunt.
Even though
surprisingly. Surprisingly, they're in the hunt. Aren't they the second wild card right now? I believe.
I just had it open.
I think they're the second wild card as we speak. Which means that the Devils and the Islanders they better tighten up. Because I do believe Boston, Florida, Toronto, and Tampa Bay are making it.
Let's see. And they are... no, they're actually in 9th in the East right now, Washington.
By 1 point then, right?
Yeah.
By 1 point. Because
ahead of the Devils and Islanders, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I do say this, though. Carolina, even though they beat Detroit last night, in a pretty good hockey game. I still say Carolina will rise up. I think that Carolina will be second in the division.
They're another team too that needs a goalie.
Yeah. Well, they've been shopping around. They've been talking about the guy on Anaheim.
Gibson?
Yeah.
That's a tricky trade to pull off though, because his contract.
That's what they're saying. They'll have to do some dancing to fit him in there. But I've heard they've also knocked on the door of Montreal. But Montreal and Colorado do not have the best relationship when it comes to players. So
especially goalies.
I'm just gonna say. So I heard that Carolina knocked on Montreal's door and they did not answer.
Okay, moving on. We have Pittsburgh at the Vegas Golden Knights. Both goalies unconfirmed, but it's expected to be Tristan Jarry for Pittsburgh and Logan Thompson for Vegas. I'm going to take the Golden Knights at home.
I'm taking Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I'm still pushing them.
A lot of road teams you're taking.
You're damn right. It's going to be a funny Saturday night. Can we have a big shout out to Sidney Crosby? We don't talk about him enough.
No, we do not.
We do not talk about Sidney Crosby enough. He is now cementing himself as one of the greatest hockey players ever played in the league. No doubt about it. What is he, top 10 in scoring this year?
Yep.
Top 10 in scoring.
If Pittsburgh was in a better spot, he'd definitely be in the Hart Trophy conversation.
Oh, 100%. They still got 40 games to go, but they're outside looking in. Are they outside looking in on the playoffs?
Yeah, they are. They're, like 11th in the East or something? Not looking good.
Yeah, but I think they have a chance to come back. They're only so many games out.
They've been treading water all season, though. There's nothing for me there to believe that they're going to climb out of it.
And you know what? And I'm going to verify it for you because this is their shaky thing is the same problem as the Toronto Maple Leafs. Can anyone from the back end move it up to the front end? The Tanks look horrible some nights. Absolutely horrible.
I agree.
Next.
Anaheim Ducks at the San Jose Sharks. Again, both goalies unconfirmed, but it's expected to be Gibson versus Capo Kakinen. I'm taking San Jose.
Can I get my coin out? I'll take San Jose, too, only because they're at home.
Yeah, that's basically my logic, too.
But I'm dealing at it this way. They're both quietly tanking.
Quietly? Well, nothing quiet about San Jose's tank. Even Anaheim, for that matter. But regardless, New York Rangers at the LA Kings. Again, both goalies unconfirmed, but it's expected to be Jonathan Quick versus Cam Talbot. And I'm taking the Kings at home.
I'm taking the Rangers because they're having a horrible road trip. So they got to
climb out of it?
Yeah, they got to climb out of it tonight. And even though I've been a big LA guy, I think tonight is the night where Rangers is New York, LA.
Yep. So
maybe they're going to show up tonight and say, here we go.
Maybe. And last but not least, Edmonton at the Calgary Flames. Stuart Skinner expected for Edmonton. Daniel Vladar is already confirmed for Calgary. I'm going to take Edmonton.
7-6 game? 6-5?
Could very well be.
I'm predicting, as a matter of fact.
You're on Edmonton as well?
Yeah, definitely. Are they still on that streak, too?
They are. Longest win streak in franchise history, which is amazing.
Unbelievable when you think the history of the team. Now, let's take it one step further. If anybody wants to end this streak,
it's going to be the Calgary Flames.
It's going to be the Calgary Flames. And I like I said, I've never seen a run like this is where Edmonton still doesn't play defense.
No.
Skinner's made some big saves at the right time, but they just keep pouring it in. You know what I mean? Their first 2 or 3 lines have played great. People forget about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman are good hockey players.
Evander Kane's game's fallen off, though. Ever since that hand injury, he hasn't looked the same.
Because he doesn't seem to be able to get his hand on the stick, but maybe they can cure by the end of the year. Yeah, because he's had some...
This is going on for over a year now.
And you know this, he gets great chances. You know what I mean? But
it was a terrible injury. It was like I believe he was stepped on by a skate, right?
Yeah, that tendon shit and all that stuff. And,
terrible.
Yep.
That's it for hockey.
Anybody that wants to come in and talk to Andrew about how much he loves Sheldon Keefe, you're welcome to come on down and discuss it at the house. That happens, okay?
We could throw tomatoes at him together. It'll be wonderful.
Okay, well, we're not going to spend a lot of time on basketball today because we've got too much talk about football to come.
Yes, but the big news, obviously, Pascal Siakam finally traded to the Indiana Pacers of all teams, which is a bit of a surprise.
I'm not, because they need a forward that can play defense.
But there was no real buzz about Indiana getting him, which was the weird part.
Oh, about a month ago, I heard the teams that were really banging on the door were the Lakers, which could never find a deal for him. The Lakers, Sacramento.
Golden State, I heard, thrown around.
Philadelphia was interested, too.
Yeah.
Okay, and because the Nurse connection, they were there. But I think it was a contract situation. But Indiana's name was in the conversation. But to be honest with you, I just thought, well, yeah, they're just a team interested. until it came down to the wire and they grabbed him. But the interesting thing about the trade is Bobby Brown or Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown.
Is he going to be a Raptor by the end of the season?
Hard to say. They could flip him. Right?
That's the word. Now, the question is, because we're not going to talk about...
And Gary Trent's still available, too. The Raptors still have another trade chip to use.
Okay, so where are we at the Toronto Raptors at the end of the 2024 season? I'm looking at it this way. Masai made some good moves. We had no draft choices. Suddenly, we got a bag load. We got a good, solid nucleus with when we got Quickly, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes. I think that the Dick kid's going to be better next year. I don't think he should come up anymore. Leave him in the G League, work on a shot, and do that. The question is, what do we do with a guy like Brown? He's only 27 years old. He was on the Denver team when they won the championship. He was a lockdown defender who could give you 12 to 15 a night.
I say, let him play and, see if he
See
can
where
find
it works
a role.
it out. You know what it is? I think the wild card in all this is the kid named Nwora. I've heard jokes that Masai just needs an African player on his team. That's bullshit. I've heard that said.
That's so bad.
Oh, yeah, it just made me. So I'm just saying, anyone goes down that road, F you. But I seen this kid play for Louisville in college, and he could hit a shot, but he was a banger, and he's a big boy. Is he 6'8"?
Yep.
He's a big boy. I'm thinking that we can do a little bit of development with him. He could be, you heard it here first, he could be a surprise pick. A surprise piece in the trade, only because I'm starting to amp up, which you're going to have a little show about. I'm going to get you to look at it too, because the NCAA college season is in full bloom, and I'm starting to pay more attention to that. Got to turn off the tennis and watch more college games. And I don't want to say anything about college games. I feel sorry for LeBron's kid. He's never going to be daddy. No.
Wow. I don't think anyone thought that.
But, he should be a little better than he is. I've watched some USC games, and he just, I don't know. He needs.
Do you still think he's going to declare for the draft this year, or is he?
I think he is because of Dad, but I think Dad should tell him stay another year in college and get schooled. You know what I mean? He needs to work on his game. He's got some natural moves, some natural stuff. But speaking of LeBron, I so hope that the Lakers and Golden State both miss the playoffs because I'm sick of it all. We've got, let's just say, the 5 most exciting guys in the NBA this season. Let's just discuss who we are. And we got to leave John Morant out or he'd be in there. So let's talk about the 5 most exciting guys in the NBA this season. Anthony Edwards, our boy Shea.
Yep.
Okay. Scotty Barnes isn't quite there.
No.
But he's going to be a commodity that somebody we got to be thinking about. Tyrese Maxey in Philadelphia, who has risen up because he's going to be there. Now, who am I missing? Pacero in Orlando, who lost a tough game last night.
Banchero.
Banchero's how do you say
Paolo Banchero.
Yeah, he's another guy that you got to look at, which is making the NBA quite healthy. It was interesting last night that Denver went into Boston and ended their 20-game home streak after 2 nights earlier losing to the
potential finals preview.
That's what the word was. But 2 nights earlier, they went into Philadelphia, and Philadelphia was beat against the Joker, and they won. So let's just say things about what I say about players and where they come from and stuff. If you don't like Nikola Jokic, don't watch basketball. Jokic, whatever his name is. I never get him right. This guy is so much fun. He's grown on me over the years. You know what I mean? They always call him the human stretch mark that couldn't jump up on the curb and all that stuff. Everything about the guy is amazing. And that new commercial where he comes into the restaurant, that's not a horse, it's a pony. Gotta love it.
That's funny.
Gotta love it. We'll spend more time in the NBA next week. I'm just saying, when you're talking about out west out there, the Golden State Warriors are now a dumpster fire. And when you look at the top of the West, this is a new age.
Right.
Look at who's on the top.
Yeah, Minnesota,
OKC. Houston is not my surprise team. It doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the play-in, which gets us back to our final.
Well, even then, they're behind the Lakers now.
Yeah, because they're
Utah's all of a sudden climbed back up.
Oh, yeah, Utah. I love their owner. They've climbed up. Like I'm saying.
Could be a potential future NHL owner, their owner there.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
The other thing they got to think about this, and it's just an amazing thing that's going to happen because I love this player so much. If you are sleeping on the Los Angeles Clippers, you are not watching the NBA right now. Kawhi Leonard right now is possibly MVP candidate. Mm-hmm. We just brought up Shea. We just brought up Anthony Edwards. And not only that, the Rookie of the Year is not going to be Wembanyama. It's going to be Holmgren on OKC, I believe. There is nobody in the NBA playing better than Kawhi Leonard right now. Nobody. I'm up late to watch the late games. His ball distribution, his shooting percentage, and his defense are every bit as good as in 2019 when he brought the ring home for Toronto.
Right.
So I just want to remind that they're
right there in the thick of it with the top teams right now. They're almost caught up to Denver.
Okay, and just think they had a 3-9 start or a 3-11.
Well, that stretch with when they traded for Harden.
Yeah, when they were getting there and they're trying to figure it out. So you just take that. If they had played 500 in that series, they'd be the best team in the NBA right now. They have the best record in the NBA, and they're going to be on their way there. So my thing is that it could be an LA Clipper Boston Celtic final, which would really piss off.
Well, health is going to play a huge part of it for the Clippers, though, right? That's kind of been
Harden's been playing. They say the best. Harden gets a bad rap about all his other bullshit, but they say he's pretty good in the dressing room until he gets pissed off. And he's about to re-sign for a little bit less than the Clippers because that combo is good. And when you have Russell Westbrook coming off the bench as the Energizer Bunny and playing that D, come on, you know what I mean? We're not quite sure about the Phoenix Suns yet because
injuries.
Well, they're all back now, and they're on a little bit of a run. They're not on a heater, but they're on a little bit of a run. But I'm going to say the Phoenix Suns, I think that would be a great conference finals. It was Phoenix against the Clippers.
I would say so, too.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
But you skirted by one thing for the Raptors that we had in our pre-show. Whether or not they should, what does this team do, basically? Like, if they should tank or not. I say let the players decide.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all about the play on the court.
And if you want to play that well, and you know what? Here's a weird. You want to think about metrics? Do you know the Toronto Raptors are in the top 5 in points in the paint?
That makes sense.
Okay, but you
their shooting is horrible, though.
Oh, that's the problem. Because you look at all the teams, like the top teams that are in the top 5 in points in the paint. You're talking Minnesota, OKC, Philadelphia. The one aberration is Boston, but they're the best 3-point shooting team in the league.
Right.
But that's there. But the other metric is the biggest problem for the Toronto Raptors, not that they shoot bad, hit free throws.
Oh, that's even worse.
I think they're bottom 3 in the league or bottom 5 in the league in free throw percentage. But I agree with you. Here, what happens is watch the Raptors now. They're entertaining.
Well, we picked up some good free throw shooters. Like Quickly is very good from the line, so hopefully that helps to improve things.
Okay. So
also a couple more things. Oh, did you have anything?
No.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Dejan Milojevic, assistant coach for the Golden State Warriors, died at age 46.
God bless his family. I'm so glad. It would have been a remiss if we didn't talk about it. One of the most popular players that's coming out right now, and he developed the Joker. He was a big guy in helping develop the Joker over in Europe. Just a very, very, very sad story. Huge condolences to him, to his family, his children. Just sad.
Yeah.
Just sad.
And a little bit more of a lighter story here. Did you hear about the Spolstra contract?
Love it.
They waited for his divorce to finalize before they signed it. I thought that was awesome.
Stunning. That's Pat Riley in the old school. So girls, don't be pissed off. But I think it's just a great move. Stunning. You know what I mean? One up for the boys.
Yep. And I mean, Spolstra, I love him as a coach.
Oh, yeah, I love him as a person.
Start from the bottom of that Miami team in the video room, worked his way up to head coach. How can you not love that story?
And if they were the team that's going to upset somebody in the East, it's going to be the Miami Heat.
Yep.
A bunch of dogs.
That's a fantastic program they've built there in
Miami.
Dogs.
Everybody.
I hated that team when they had LeBron, but you cannot deny the impact of that team. Just every game, they'll give it to you. Love Jimmy Butler. Kyle Lowry.
I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that I'm going to talk to everybody on Pheasant Run Football, Scoundrels, and what's the other league, our basketball league? I forget the name of it. I'm going to mention the fact that, hey, my son, how's Jimmy Butler? It's an inside joke, but apparently while he was in Cuba, he was entertained by a lady that looked like Jimmy Butler.
God.
Pick Semenuk, Cody, everybody at San Fran. I had to throw that in there. Son, hilarious. I still love you. I still love you. Yeah. He FaceTimed me from Cuba and said, Dad, I got a Jimmy Butler situation. Well, what? That's enough. That's enough. That's all you got to need to know.
Okay.
Jimmy Butler from the promo picture at the beginning of the year. Jimmy Butler.
Yes.
That's what
I love how when you do the All-Star voting, that's the picture for him that shows up too. That's hilarious.
Yeah. He's got all the braids in it anyway. Keep watching the NBA. I think the finals are going to be great this year. But now we have to get on to the greatest thing that's ever happened. And people got to know this because they did not know this. One of the greatest fan bases in the NFL belongs in Detroit, Michigan. And did you know that this weekend that they had the loudest crowd, second loudest crowd in the history of NFL football?
Wow.
Did you not know
I
that?
did not know that.
Please listen to Michael Wilbon on PTI. He is a Chicago guy. He's been in the same division. He is not a Detroit fan. He hates Green Bay more. But he's been saying for the last month, people, there's a home field advantage. It's called Ford Field. And they rocked it. Even MCDC came down. He goes, this crowd's been electric all year. But he said, when we came out of the tunnel, he said, we had shivers. The only thing I'm disappointed in my Detroit Lions is the game turned out exactly how I want it to be. We won and Stafford had a great game. But come on, man. He gave his heart and soul to the team. I don't think he deserves some of the treatment that him and his family got.
I think that's the family like booing his kids. Like that's spineless.
That's the only drawback I'm saying but please bring that level of intensity this weekend, which I think it'll weird because this has been a sleeping, what'd you call it? A sleeping bear. He just got
sleeping
kicked.
Giant, yeah.
Yeah, and now he's got up. I've been to Ford Field on Turkey Day, and it's insane in there. But this is next level insanity. I'm going to say this. I had a tear in my eye when we won the game. 32 years since we got there. We're crushing Tampa Bay this weekend. I did not say that last week, did I?
No.
I was scared shitless, I'll tell you the truth. But we are crushing.
Yeah, LA actually covered the spread.
Yes, I was
so
worried.
I was technically right.
Okay, I was scared to death. And look at, there might have been a little tug on the jersey at the end of the game there, by the way. I didn't see it personally.
It's not important.
Not important at this right now. Detroit Lions are winning there. And like I said, I'm still worried about our back end because they've got Goodwin and, of course, the first ballot Hall of Famer, Mike Evans, that we got to deal about. But I think that the crowd, the pass rush, the energy, MCDC, Jared Goff, we're going to win, guys. We're going to the NFC Championship game. And if you don't think that I've ever been excited about something in my life, this is going to be, I will not sleep next week. I'll be so, like, I cannot, if you are, which you are, Andrew, you know, and everybody out there that's watching this show, when you love a team and I've been waiting a long time for this.
Sure.
I'm pumped. I'm beyond happy. I'm ecstatic. Joe, my brother, if you're listening, send me the cup. We're going to win, bro. Like, we don't stop when we're on the game. But this Detroit Lions thing, man, it's just, I can't even express it. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because that's what happens when you love sports at the highest competitive level.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a crazy super wild card weekend. I mean, the Houston-Cleveland game right away, just like a complete smackdown against the Joe Flacco Magic ran out.
Notice we both took Houston, didn't we?
No, I took Cleveland.
Oh, I told you the Joe Flacco, what is it, Cinderella at midnight?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, look what happened. You know what I mean? But I thought Cleveland would play better. But I'm just saying that.
Them to go out with such a whimper like that, like.
No,
that was
I
shocking.
think that DeMarco, the coach, CJ Stroud, who's not a stranger to big games. He played for the Ohio State Buckeyes. The guy's got more moxie and pose than anybody. But here's the thing is, his two number one receivers are not going to be playing tonight. Mm-hmm. So that could be a big detriment. And I'm looking at it this way. This and the San Francisco game and Jordan Love, what you're going to say, we'll talk about this in a second, but I've been watching football 50-some years. I've seen a lot of times in the first round where somebody unexpectedly, except for Colin Kaepernick, who got to the Super Bowl, but then he was in his second year and it was a stronger team. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be pumpkin time for Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. I really believe it is because I'm really hoping for a rematch of the Baltimore-San Francisco in the Super Bowl.
I would love to see that, but there's one thing about San Fran, the Kirk Cousins curse.
Do you think?
Are you aware of this?
No.
So no team has ever lost to Kirk Cousins in the regular season and made it to the Super Bowl. Guess who San Fran lost to one of their losses this year? Minnesota Vikings and Kirk Cousins.
Okay, and does that mean that Kirk Cousins is going to go to Atlanta with Bill Belichick so that
I think he's staying in Minnesota.
But it would be a great fantasy story.
I'm concerned with the reality.
Okay, well, Belichick needs one more ring to tie Brady, and Kirk Cousins has never got one.
Can Atlanta draft a quarterback? I think that would be the route they go.
No, I think they got too much talent on the team that they get. Like, if Belichick gets an established. Like, remember, I picked Atlanta to win the division.
Yeah, and I called you crazy for it.
And they almost pulled it off, didn't they? In a shitty division. But why? Because
I wouldn't say they almost pulled it off.
Well, they're one game behind the Bucs. In the shittiest division of football.
2 games.
Was it 2 games?
Yeah, because they lost the last game to New Orleans.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think that game mattered for either team, but I find it very interesting that John Gruden may show up as the offensive coordinator in New Orleans with his old buddy Derek Carr. That's a hot rumor. I don't know if it's true, but let's not get to hot rumors.
New Orleans, they got a lot of cap problems. But
let's just discuss last week for a second.
Yeah,
okay?
So Kansas City, Miami, that was the least surprising.
Come on, that was what they call a bye week. That was a practice, wasn't it? Kansas City were having a practice, so we'll just
fourth coldest NFL game in history, by the way.
It doesn't matter, and their faces are frozen. And I'm Mahomes at the end of the game. Can we end it? Can we end this interview?
What about was it 15 fans? I think got hospitalized after that game.
Hypothermia.
And frostbite.
Yeah. Because they were idiots. They're taking their shirts off. Like the idiots in Buffalo.
No, that's not the problem, though. It's like that's the extremities that get frostbite and like the face, right?
Yeah, and they didn't cover up properly. But anyways, we don't even have to talk about the Kansas City game because that was a practice. And I want to be with all the people that say this. Patrick Mahomes, I'm Buffalo. We'll get there in a minute. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes has never played a road game in the playoffs. So what? And then if he loses, we're going to have to hear about it. No, he has. That's the Super Bowl.
No.
He's never. No,
they played they won the game in Buffalo, remember?
No, but I'm saying he's never played a playoff game on the road.
Yes, he has.
No.
One of those playoff games that they beat the Bills was in Buffalo.
No. You owe me a beer forever. Do your work. Caught the kid. No. It's been the talk all over the place. Mahomes has never played a playoff game on the road. Stop it. He's going to go in there and bitch. No, he's not going to do that. But, I mean, he's going to go and play like Mahomes. I don't think that matters. I just think that's an overblown narrative, tell you the truth. 2 games he played with, both games are in Arrowhead. They've won the division, 5 years in a row? They've been the number 1 seed 3 times.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And in the time when they got lost to New England, that one year when they went to playoffs, New England had to go beat Kansas City in Kansas City. You're a New England fan. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So this is, he's never played. I think that's one of the most overblown things ever. Okay? So that being said, let's talk about the NFC East. The marquee division in football. Traditional franchises. More money there than money. Now let's see what happened. The Green Bay Packers went in there and bitch slapped. Bamboozled. Came in through the back door. Bad coaching on McCarthy's part, and Green Bay killed him. I thought it was just...
they changed their defensive coverage. After playing man all year, they decided to go to zone.
Okay, so that was a first down move. But the number one thing is...
Some of those receivers didn't have a guy within, I saw some of the highlights.
Oh, it was so bad.
Open.
It was so bad. But that's coaching. But here's the big thing. LaFleur has big balls.
Sure.
He won the coin toss, said, we're taking the ball. We're going to take it right to Dallas right now. 12 plays, touchdown right off the start, which was great. Jordan Love played great. He can throw and he can throw. He looks a lot like Aaron Rodgers, though. I've been hanging out with him because he makes Aaron Rodgers throws, but they're Jordan Love thing. So the difference being is this is why I'm bringing it up is that happens to any team on a given day. You're not as prepared as you should have been. The other team found your weaknesses, punched you in the face, and went home in your house. So they went to Dallas, stole your girlfriend, stole your weed, kicked your dog.
Broke their 16-game home winning streak.
And broke their 16-game winning streak. Did you know that on Monday, that First Take had the highest viewing audience of any sports show in the morning in over a year?
That makes sense.
You know why. We don't have to bring it up because everybody knows the ego that runs that ship, and shit goes on. However, the big difference was in Philadelphia. They should be embarrassed for their performance. It was unbelievable.
Oh, talk about a team that just fell off the cliff.
Troy Aikman said it best. This team is defeated. You know when he said that? 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Ugh. Troy Aikman said, this is a defeated team. Well, if they're going to play that bad, why didn't they just mail it in? That's what I'm saying. Oh, they did mail it in. Why not just stay on the airplane? You know what I mean? It was horrible. In my 50-plus years of watching football, I've seen teams get beat like Dallas. Back in the day, our last time in the NFC Championship game,
Dallas still put up 32 points.
That was all garbage points. Come on.
Though.
No, do not.
Philly couldn't even hit double digits in garbage time.
Philadelphia just didn't show up. They were just absolutely horrible on both sides of the bench. I feel bad for Jason Kelce to have to belong, and maybe his last game was that kind of performance that was out there. No. This was just an atrocity. I've never they didn't even look like they were trying. They were arguing on the sidelines. There was no what would you say? I don't want to say continuity. No flow to their game.
There was a failed tush push at the end too.
Oh, but Tampa's done it twice this year. Because they got
they stopped it?
Yeah, this is their second time stopping because they got that animal on the front line. What is his name? Rui or whatever? The Samoan dude?
Yeah.
They say that's like moving a freaking, what do they say? It's like moving farm equipment stuck in mud.
Still, though, the fact that you're able to stop that twice when like no one else...
No other team has touched it. And it's now 99.5% times that they've tried it's gone through. That's not the point, though. Philadelphia should be embarrassed.
I agree.
When you go out there to get on a performance like that.
They were your Super Bowl pick for the NFC.
What, this year?
Yeah, you picked them at the beginning of the year.
To return?
You said you said it was going to be a rematch.
That's true too. God, did I fall off the cliff there? And they were 10-1 at one point. Thinking about that. Well, we'll get to our picks.
Kind of a fraudulent 10-1 People were.
Oh yeah, by the time I wasn't. And when you go back and check the show, I was a little worried about that 10-1 too. But I thought it was one of those times that could have happened. It didn't. And you know what? I'm embarrassed. I'll even say further. I'm embarrassed to say I picked Philadelphia. To be even associated with anything that team has done this year, does that mean they fire the coach? I don't think so.
I mean, both coordinators should be gone for sure.
Well, that was part of the problem. They lost both coordinators.
And he brought in Matt Patricia.
Oh, gee. Well, he's a good coordinator. It just didn't work out for him this year. He just had a bad time. Look at Dan Quinn. He's expected. He should not get a head coaching job after his performance against Green Bay.
He might get one, though.
Well, that's what they're saying. But, I mean, here's this guy. He's the coordinator. He is the defensive coordinator. Dallas, how'd that work out for you last week? But, you know, like everybody else, are you sad that the Dallas Cowboys have gone home?
Not sad.
I'm happy. I'm glad. Get rid of them. America's team, eat my shorts. But the other game, too, was like, there was no doubt that Buffalo was
I'm just more shocked about the Cowboys thing because I really thought they'd be like going to the conference championship.
Oh, I did, too. Come on. And I was worried because Detroit would have had to gone to...
Going to Dallas this weekend.
Had to go to Jerry's World out there. So it's better for us. That's why we can't lose against Tampa Bay.
No.
We just can't lose against them. But the other game is you knew that Buffalo was going to beat Pittsburgh.
Oh, hands down.
That was not.
And what I say, they would win by 20. Well, they won by 14. Pretty close.
And it wasn't because of the weather. They might have won by 30. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, last weekend, when you really think about the football, the quality of football was shit. All the games were basically blowouts. The only good game was the Lions and the Rams.
Yep.
And that's because it was the homecoming of Stafford, and it was a tight game, and it was good. And I cannot tell you one more time. When St. Brown caught that freaking pass for the first down, and they were going into victory formation, I drank a half a bottle of my rum. Sis, great rum from St. Lucia's, though. It's called, what is it? Commander's Reserve. Some of the best rum I've ever drank in my life. Anyways, to make it rum point. But anyways, God bless the Detroit Lions. Let's get us a win this week, or I will not say what I usually say because I'm not saying those things anymore. Because I don't know what happens. You know, one of my usually brutal, misogynistic, yeah, whatever. Yeah, no, not that I've ever said anything like that before. But Andrew, you have taught me not to say those things on the air, so I won't.
Yes.
And I'm not going to say that my wife will be wearing a long sleeve shirt either. Okay.
So a few Bills things I wanted to bring up. So
God bless the Bills. I want them to win so bad. Even though I picked Kansas City, I want the Bills to win. Do you see Josh Allen? He's Superman.
Yeah.
He's Superman. And that was not a fake slide. Did you hear about the play when he had the 50-yard touchdown round? He juked. If everybody paused, which is sometimes you got to say about the rules in the NFL. Is it, I don't know. But he didn't look like he was sliding to me. He just made a juke move and kept on going.
That's fine. But the big story, the funniest story I think coming out of Buffalo is week 14, a Bills fan fell into the pit where they're building the new stadium, They win the game after. Now all of a sudden, Bills fans are falling in there and the guy got injured. And they had to be hospitalized. Now the Bills fans, now I guess there's more dumbasses because now they're falling in there on purpose, and the Bills haven't lost a game since.
Oh, I know that. It's
amazing. It's actually amazing.
It's one of those weird things in sports that just goes on now. I can't remember it now. There's a thing that's going on in Detroit too. Something I'll look it up by next week. I should know it now, but it's not near as anything like the Buffalo thing, but they're doing something in Detroit where they started when they got on the streak, and they're going to keep on doing it. Nothing like the Buffalo thing. This will go down in legend. They win the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I want to... Okay.
If they win the Super Bowl, this is going to be like NFL films like Football Life and all that, yeah.
Okay, so when my son was in Cuba, I don't know, I should have got you into our football pool. But anyways, you got to pick the teams before, and you got to pick every week. I discussed that, right? So we put in 4 cards. Because you can't put in one, you know what I mean? Put in 4 cards. Right. Do you know one of our cards is? And it's sitting up in the top of the list in the standings after 1 week in the playoffs.
Is Buffalo in the Super Bowl?
Oh, better than that. Detroit to beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
That's a realistic possibility of the day.
Did you have like a Cleveland-Detroit one, too?
No. That was the only one because we discussed it. Because you know me, I do have some Buffalo love. I've been living in the Toronto area for 40 years. I mean, like, I will hate them to death. I won't even, they will be a grease spot in my memory if Buffalo plays Detroit in the Super Bowl. I wouldn't even know who Josh Allen is. I'll be pushing people into that pit. Okay? Let's cut to the chase on that. But we did take a card where we said Detroit would beat Buffalo in the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh my God. I'll be I won't know my name for 2 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If Detroit were to win the Super Bowl, I will cry.
Wow.
I will cry. I will probably cry. I was emotional after the win. Bro, 32 years? When St. Brown caught that my granddaughter, I live in a 4-level semi. When St. Brown caught that pass for the first down and I knew the game was over, my granddaughter had to come down and said, "Is there something wrong with Papa?" Because she could hear me all the way up there going, "Is Papa okay? Should we go down and check on him?" No, the Detroit Lions just won. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
He's lost his mind. He's you know, the other time when they lost and he said, "Don't talk to us." Well, this is one of those times, just leave him alone. Papa's going to be crazy for a while, you know. Handful of gummies, bottle of rum, rolling table, and beers. Oh, yeah. It was a good day.
Hell yeah.
It was a very good day. Very, very good day. And to all those people out there in Pheasant Run football, give me some Lions love. That's all I'm asking. And Pick, if you make fun of Stafford one more time. Oh, by the way, big shout out to Kevin Pick. He is running the pool. A man who's an accountant, knows more numbers than I know, 2 young children, beautiful wife, and he's still taking the time, which takes time, to run our playoff pool. Big shout out to Pick.
Good for him.
Yep.
One more thing about the Bills I want to bring up. I don't know if you heard, but they're selling some Taylor Swift themed food at their game.
Love it. Isn't that a kick in the head?
So we got the Bad Blood waffle fries.
Yeah.
So it's a 2-foot boat full of spiced waffle fries, topped half with buffalo chicken, blue cheese, and half with Kansas City barbecue pork, coleslaw, and bread and butter pickles. That actually sounds delicious.
Oh, I like that too. Is she showing up at the game?
I imagine she'll be there. Then we also got the Karma quesadilla.
Oh, yeah.
Triple stacked quesadilla with chicken tenders, bacon, and cilantro ranch topped with pork belly chaser.
Oh, okay.
That also sounds delicious.
Once again, I want to say at the House That Happens because it's going to come up this weekend if she's at the Buffalo game. As long as she doesn't call me a Chad or a Brad, I will thank her for bringing in people that are going to love the game in 20 years that were Swifties.
Yeah.
That's my thing on it.
I think some of the hate, though, it's becoming a little ridiculous now.
That's what I'm saying. I was a little perturbed in the beginning because I was thinking, like, why do you got to keep flashing on him? Was really, did you see when they did the dance in the booth?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That made me up my ante on, okay, that's going on.
That's team spirit.
That's what I'm saying. So I will give it there. So as long as she doesn't call me a Chad or a Brad, keep doing that dance in the end zone.
Yeah.
I think Kelce's going to have to be huge this weekend. I think he's a key because it is about time we make our picks. The show's running late. Let's get to the chase.
Well, there's just one last thing for football, or a couple more things. So one is We also just got a shout out Jason Kelce, his wonderful career.
Huge. Jason Kelce, sexiest man on the planet, according to People Magazine.
Even though he's not the sexiest man in his family, according to himself.
Yeah.
But arguably could go down as the greatest center of all time. He's going to walk into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, door's already open.
Yeah.
They're sizing him up for the shirt, for the yellow coat.
They gave his favorite McDonald's employee the signed jersey.
Wasn't that? That's what the beautiful. There should be more of that instead of the. How am I going to put it? The Wander, Franco, Corey Perry, Nichushkin. There should be more.
Yeah.
That. I like that. I want more of that.
A lot of great stories coming out about him this week. The one I heard was that this reporter, he came down from Baltimore to, like, I guess, talk to the team. And, like, it was after media time. And Kelce's like, no, stick around. And he gave him, like, another 10 minutes of his time. Told the teammates to turn down the music, too.
Oh, so yeah. That's right. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those guys are genuine. After having said and done, the Kelce brothers are 100% genuine, if you're a fan or not.
Yeah.
Because they're both going to the Hall of Fame.
Agreed.
And but they're just great guys. So that's why I'm going. Can I take it one step further? Taylor, if you married this guy, it's a good idea. He's a good man. He's a good man. Let's cut it out. He's a good man.
That. Yeah. And then Jared Mayo, new head coach in the New England Patriots. First black coach in Patriots history, which... like we completely missed last time.
Okay, but here's the deal. I want to just say one thing. I'm glad you brought this up. We all know about the Rooney Rule, right?
Yes. You got to interview one black person per position, right?
So that means why my defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn of the Detroit Lions, he's got 100 interviews. Raheem Morris has got 100 interviews. Why is that? Do they just bring him up there to say, thanks, bro? Next.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I mean? Because everyone's going to pick their guy. I like the fact that New England had a secession order.
Yes.
A secession thing in his contract. So that just verified what they were doing and validates it. You know what I mean?
But he had a great line, too, where he's like, if you're one of these people that don't see race, you don't see racism. Which I think is 100% too, because my generation, we're kind of like, I don't know, like kind of instilled with this, like, oh, don't see color, but like that's absurd.
That's dumbass.
Yeah,
that's if you know what I mean though. That's and I hate to say it, it's a bit about this new social justice engineering. They're trying to tell you not to see something that's real.
Yeah.
Every day, no, it's real. You know what I mean? When that guy that fell into the cliff in Buffalo, that fell in the ditch, that was real. Don't tell me guys aren't jumping in there because they're not going in there. I thought that was a great quote by Gerard Mayo, and I think they should keep it forever. They should be in the front line. You know what I mean?
So I guess we'll just move on to our picks.
Very easy for me to do. I'm going to be a football historian, like I said before. I hope C.J. Stroud has a great game. I think that Jordan Love has a great game, but I've already put my picks in for the pool. I've taken both teams and the points.
Okay, let's look at what the spreads are right now. So we'll do AFC and NFC. Okay. We'll just do it in order that way. So AFC, we got Houston at Baltimore. Baltimore right now is favored by 9.5 at home.
They put them away in the fourth quarter. They win 30-17.
So we're both on Baltimore then.
Yep. With the points. I want to take the points. Lay in the points.
Oops, hold on. Let me fix that.
Then we got Buffalo and Kansas City.
We're both taking Baltimore against the spread.
Yeah.
Kansas City at Buffalo. Buffalo favored by 3 points at home. I'm team guys falling into that pit. I think Buffalo finally breaks the streak against Kansas City.
Okay, so you know what I got to do? I got to be a bit of a hypocrite. When you said that, I said there would be a repeat in the Super Bowl. Who was the Super Bowl people last year?
It's Kansas City.
And now do I have to take Kansas City? Things have changed.
Even like in the regular season, you're like, oh, they're my team. I
still think they're going, but you know what? I have too much Buffalo love.
Wow.
I'm not surprised that Kansas City, like this game is so close that if it goes either way, I'm not going to be shocked. But I want to go Buffalo. Shout out to the Bills Mafia. Shout out to Josh Allen. Shout out to McDermott, who's taken more freaking flack this year than anyone I've ever seen in a coach who's winning.
Oh, especially when the terrorist thing got out there.
Okay,
which wasn't even from the season, but
can't be a dumbass your whole. Sometimes we're all a dumbass once in a while. Okay,
so that's extra dumbass though.
Exactly. But I'm taking Buffalo.
Okay, we're both on the Bills. Green Bay at San Francisco. San Francisco favored by 10 points at home. It doesn't matter to me. I think they're going to smack Green Bay around.
I do too. I think, you know what? I think that Green Bay is going to maybe get I'll call it this way, a quick touchdown. And San Francisco is going to say, what? And then it's going to be a crush. Oh, shout out, Joe, call in the show. What was my best call last weekend? Green Bay goes up 14-0 on Dallas. I text my brother to say, Pressure on Dak. Here comes the turnover. He got the turnover. He got my text and said, "What a call!" He just got the text, and Dak threw a pick.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was a good call. I wish I could do lottery numbers like that.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
And last but not least,
come on, we know where we're going
Tampa
here.
Bay.
We don't even mention that
No, we need
team.
to mention the spread.
Okay, are you taking the Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Are you taking the Tampa Bay?
At the Detroit Lions.
Are you taking Tampa at Ford Field
Lions
in the Motor
favored
City,
by,
MCDC?
Hold on, let me finish.
Nah, I'm excited.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions.
Come
Lions
on.
favored by 6 points at home.
Do you know
So
who
you're
I
obviously
am?
You're obviously going for Tampa Bay.
Do you know who I am? Who used to say that? Do you know who I am? Some football player. Do you know who I am? Did you see my jacket today? Did you see my parka?
I'm seeing the shirt you're wearing now.
Okay, we're all the way around. We're all the way. Didn't you see my parka? This is a official Detroit Lions
I did
sideline
not see
coat.
that.
Yes, I'm picking the Lions, and you know what? You know what? This is one time in my life for every sports fans, you Toronto Maple Leaf fans, everybody out there. Like, what happens if the night that Toronto wins and you go to the finals? How are you going to feel that night? Toronto's now in the Stanley Cup.
I'll cry.
What's that?
I'm going to cry.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to cry. I am that pumped. Detroit City, Barry Sanders, Billy Sims, Megatron, Alex Karras, Bobby Lane, Wayne Fonts, Chris Spielman, Al Bubba Baker. I love yous all. Let's go to the NFC Championship game. That's all I've got to say.
The only thing that could go against Detroit.
Don't say it.
Hold on. Is if Baker Mayfield goes off and picks apart your secondary. I do not see that happening.
I see Baker getting crushed.
I think I see that too.
Those wide receivers are going to be wide open, and Baker's going to be on his ass. Remember, he's short. Detroit's got one of the tallest.
Like front seven?
Yeah, like the tallest guys up there. So they're going to be hands up, which Philadelphia didn't do at all. Shocked me. They didn't come in hands first.
But either way, I'm taking I'm taking Detroit as well.
Thank you, bro. Okay, well, this is the end of the show, and it's usually the opportunity where we have a little thing called The Gospel According to Cruz. So, if you guys have noticed something later, and Andrew, it was glaring the other night, I jumped on my couch, I think I even texted you. I have a little problem with this thing in the NHL called shot attempt. Okay? Can I get to this one more time? Can I define shot attempt, or do you want to define shot attempt?
It's any shots that you take. It can get blocked. It can make it to the goal. It can miss.
Nah, I don't believe that. It's when the motherfucker comes over the line, can't hit the net, hits the glass, hits the boards, misses. Does it go? And remember, a shot on goal is not the goal posts. It's
inside the goalpost, yes.
I'm very happy that the Canadian broadcasts do not show it up. It's the Americans that are doing it. The other night I seen the game, 61 shot attempts. 21 shots on goal. What? That means your guys sucked. What were you doing? Okay, a few block shots, I'll add that. If you have 61 shots attempts.
So why are you complaining about shot attempts? Because
I don't even want to see the stat.
But that's telling you a lot of information, though. You just admitted that showed you that they're missing the net.
I can watch a game and see one team is putting more pressure on the other team. I watch hockey almost 60 years. I can see when
your
one
eyes
team
play tricks on you, though.
I know when a team has more pressure on the other team, so I know what. You don't have to tell me about shot attempts, forechecking, back checking. I know all that, so screw it. But here's why I'm putting it into it. If you want to see something very interesting about football, watch the Pat McAfee show, and I think every Thursday J.J. Watt comes on. And I was never a big J.J. Watt fan. I'll be honest, great football player, straight to him. But I've come to respect him because if you watch on NBC, and this is related to the shot attempt things. And another thing that's driving me crazy is if you'll see up there and they'll say Penny Sewell, North Carolina. And then at the bottom it says PFF and it gives a number. Like number 88.
Right.
Number 10. First of all, when they put up that number, I go, is there that many guys? Like one guy said was 120. You must suck if your PPF says PFF is 120. Okay.
Oh, no, you still made it to the NFL.
Oh, no, because your performance might have sucked. Okay, let's get back to that. Anyways, I always wondered what this metric was because I like Pro Football World and all that kind of stuff, and it's going there. And I'm going, how do they grade this? Like, what makes you the 87th best lineman? What does make you the 15th best edge rusher? So anyways, J.J. Watt comes on and goes, and you know what? If those guys show that number one more time, I'm going to flip. My ears perked up. Why are you saying this? And he's going, these are projections. They're like buying a lottery ticket. So he was saying, if you have an FS and end rush this many times, you should have this many sacks if you're rushing from the end.
Right.
But what really killed it to me is these numbers get to this point. Possible interception throw. What? And J.J. Watt put it best. Was the ball intercepted? No. So what does that make that pass possibly intercepted as opposed to the one that bounces off this guy's shoulder and gets intercepted?
I'm actually insulted that you're bringing this up in the same breath as shot attempts. Because shot attempts, it's like, it's still, is it a shot attempt? Yes or no? This is like, oh, it could have been like intercepted. That's way goofier.
Who's recording the shot attempts? I want to know the guy. So if you take a shot and it bounces off a guy's helmet and it goes off the side, that was a shot attempt?
Yeah.
Stop it. It doesn't matter
what?
to me.
But it's a shot attempt. It's not a shot on goal.
I will respect zone pressure time. Okay. I will accept zone pressure time. So if you got the zone and you're in there for that many time, I will respect that stat. Okay, bro? Are we on the same level there? Because that's real time. You say, what am I watching? I'm watching that the other night. Montreal couldn't get the puck out of their own zone for 2 minutes. So I'll give you zone time thing. The puck was all over the ice. Every time you tried to get in front of that, you're going to call that a shot attempt? You know, all you did was have pressure on. You didn't get the puck on the goal. So what?
But that's still telling you. But if you compare that to the actual shots on goal, that's telling you a lot of information.
Okay, then I know at the end of the game, if you had 40 shots on goal and the other team went 19 and the team with the 19 shots won, that goalie was great. That's all I got to know. I don't need these artificially, well, we kind of, sort of, like the PPF.
It's also an indication of possession.
So I told you, I will give you possession time, zone time. I will respect that.
Yeah, but what's good possession time if you're not even trying to shoot the puck? I'm saying you got to look at all these numbers.
I want it on goal. I don't want to hit the goalpost. I want to hit a crest.
I get that.
So I get that. So we're going to have a huge argument for the rest of our career here. The same with this PFF statistic.
That one I think is stupid because that sounds like more like woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Okay, so I'm going to end the gospel according to Cruz on this note. The reason why I brought up both stats is who are they significant to?
I don't know.
Agents. Those damn lawyers and agents run in and said, oh, my guy had shot attempts. I'm the coach. I'm going to say, well, why didn't you frickin' hit the net? You might have scored more goals. Oh, my quarterback had this. Well, it didn't get us a boot.
Where's this? How do you know the agents are using this?
When they go in there.
How do you know?
I'm going to trust J.J. Watt, and he said the only possible person that could be using this is sleazy-ass agents using it to their advantage. So
this is hearsay then?
No.
It is hearsay. You don't have any evidence.
Okay, then I'll give you the benefit of a doubt. Who else would use these numbers?
The fans, nerds like me.
You're not a nerd.
I am a nerd.
Okay.
Don't tell me what I am and I'm not.
Okay, I love you, nerd. Okay, but no. I get it because you're the one. Let's get this before we leave the show. Andrew, honestly, you are the one that has made me. I look at everything in sports, and I do look at numbers. I look at the obvious numbers a lot. Okay? You, and I appreciate this immensely, and I tell my friends, I look at numbers a little bit more differently now because you have said it affects cap friendly. It affects a guy's performance. It affects why a guy's on the game at a certain time, blah, 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 blah. You are correct. But when you start taking numbers to this extreme, how fast can you get the water bottle off the top before the other guy? I start going, wait a second, who are using these numbers? A guy throws a pass, possible interception grade. What?
No, that's stupid.
What? I mean, but that's what they're breaking it down to because analytics, I respect, but they're also starting to destroy the game. We got to remember in the moment, bro. In the moment. You know, you put Ty Domi out there in the last minute of the game, not because he has the best plus minus on the team. It's because his ass has been going so hard during that game that
Max Domi, not
Okay, Max. Okay, my eyes, you know, because he's been out there at the end of the game or he's been in a key situation. My eyes have told me Max Domi should be on the ice at this time, not Mitch Marner. Analytics didn't tell me that, because if I listen to analytics, Mitch Marner should be on the ice, right? But I'm saying at that point in the game, my eyes told me Max Domi should be on the ice. And that's why shot attempts and PFF numbers drive me crazy. So we'll call this a stalemate. We'll call it the Mexican.
We'll call it a stalemate.
We'll call it a Mexican standoff. You know what I mean?
Standoff.
That's what we'll call that. You know what? You don't.
A few less guns though involved.
Okay, because we don't want to bring up guns on the show either. Anyways, once again, my Saturday has been highlighted by the fact that I can have this discussion with the man across the table from me, Mr. Andrew Mullaney. I enjoyed it immensely, bro.
Yeah, great show today.
Very much so. Is there anything else you'd want to say?
Not really. Just enjoy the football today. Enjoy the hockey.
God bless the Detroit Lions. Hi, my name is Cruz.
I'm Andrew Mullaney.
And what do? We
keep the vibe alive.
Great show, bro.
You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.